Here, have a good show.
You were naughty off this morning.
It was good.
I heard you said that it was very cold out there.
That was true.
No, you
I
said
tell truths.
Yeah,
sometimes.
you said it's very cold out there, and that's putting it mildly.
Did I say that? No, I did not. Yes, that's funny, did I? I didn't say that.
You said it's very cold out there, and that's putting it mildly.
That's very good.
I know.
Okay.
All right, I enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thanks. Didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, well, naturally funny.
Natural.
Take care of yourself,
Thanks,
Lee. Back with you tomorrow morning, which is probably Saturday. I don't know now. But it is 9 o'clock, time for a news update. Good morning, Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. A Donegal member of the board of Uireachtas na Gaeltachta says investment in broadband and other vital infrastructure is paying dividends in Donegal. Councillor John Hamish O'Farrill was speaking after it was confirmed at the weekend that Coratinia in Anfalchara, trading as Celsius Limited, is to create 53 new jobs with Uireachtas investment. The firm manufactures wireless temperature control technology for the food and retail sector. Councillor O'Farrill says the Gaeltacht is more attractive than ever as an alternative to the cities.
The broadband is enticing a lot of clients to come to the Donegal Gaeltacht, not alone the investment, but the scenery, and probably people moving into from away. You know, the last 2 years, we had COVID, and a lot of people want to move out of the cities and go into the countryside for fresh air and a different climate and different life change. Donegal Gaeltacht is there. The Uireachtas has invested a lot of money in the last number of years, and hopefully now this will continue and we'll see fruition in other areas in the Gaeltacht.
Houses need to be built faster and delivery needs to be better. That's according to Taoiseach Micheál Martin, who's in his final week in the job. He says housing is the biggest issue facing society. His comments come as the Housing Minister Darragh O'Brien faces a confidence motion in the Dáil this week. The Taoiseach says younger people need to be able to aspire to home ownership.
I do accept that this is the biggest issue facing society. And it's an issue that we have to deal with. We want younger people to have the right to aspire to home ownership. And then people who can't be in a position to aspire to home ownership, that we have social housing and cost rental that's affordable. And that's the challenge. But it is about supply, and that's why the planning issue is important.
And staying with planning, a new planning and development bill to be presented to Cabinet tomorrow suggests on Broad Pleanála be overhauled. It'll be renamed the Planning Commission and will have to adhere to specific timelines when making decisions. The plan also sees councils given more powers when making planning decisions. The HSE is being urged to open 14 specialist long COVID clinics across the country. The calls come from Independent TD Dennis Nocton, who says only a third of the required staff for the clinics have been recruited so far. He says 6% of adults in the country are living with symptoms of long COVID. Deputy Nocton says frontline workers in particular who get it should be given financial support.
The government needs to treat long COVID as serious an issue as the COVID pandemic itself. It also needs to ensure that all frontline workers who contracted COVID and subsequently ended up with long COVID are eligible for occupational illness support, because many of these staff now have exhausted their sick leave.
All roads on Donegal County Council's programme are being gritted this morning. The council urging people to be cautious all week. The current cold snap forecast to last until Friday. Officials from the council attended a meeting of the National Emergency Coordination Group yesterday. That group will meet on a daily basis for the rest of this week. But Éireann tell us, meanwhile, it'll be bright and bitterly cold this morning with severe frost, icy conditions and freezing fog lingering through much of the day in parts. Isolated wintry showers possible with accumulations of snow. There is a yellow snow and ice warning in place in Donegal. Top temperatures this afternoon just -2 to +2 degrees Celsius. That's Highland Radio News. Back with more at 10 o'clock.
Flu and COVID-19 vaccines will give your immune system the top-up it needs to help protect you from serious illness. That's why children, older people, healthcare workers, and anyone with a long-term health condition are invited to get their recommended flu and COVID-19 vaccines. Visit hsc.ie or call our team on HSC Live on 1800 700 700 to see what vaccines are recommended for you and make sure you and your family are protected in the months ahead. From the HSC.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
Chanel, Flowerbomb, Lancôme, Giorgio Armani, Paco Rabanne, Hugo Boss. Where else but at McGee's Chemist this Christmas? Sponsors of the 9 till noon show.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest. The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, good morning to you. 5 minutes, just turning 6 minutes past 9 this Monday, the 12th of December. I do hope you're very well indeed, and I hope you had a great weekend. We had a lovely weekend ourselves. Very lucky in that regard. But it was a cold one, wasn't it? And the one thing I noticed over the weekend is that our gritting crews do a fantastic job getting out and about, getting the main roads clear. Three times some of the roads were gritted, but there's a big problem with footpaths, isn't there, and housing estates or congregated living spaces. A lot of people simply can't get out of them or walk on the footpaths to be able to access these gritted main roads. Is that a particular problem for you? Should we maybe be looking at some sort of a gritting program for footpaths that have high traffic volumes? What do you think? 086 60 25,000. That's the text number, and it's good for anything else you want to discuss or raise with us. You can give us a call as well. We love taking your calls. Donna Marie and Caroline on the phones today. Well, not on the phones, they do much more than that, but they are taking your calls on 07491 25,000, 07491 25,000. And if you want to interact with us on our social media whilst watching the programme, please feel free to head on over to YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland, and join us there. And also across our Facebook pages and on our website, click Watch Live. So no excuse not to be involved today. Right, let's have a look at the front of the newspapers because we've a lot to get through. We've lots of stuff to give away. It's great to have McGee's, by the way, on board sponsoring the show this week. A fantastic local company, of course. We've got a fantastic prize from them daily, which would be enough in and of itself, but they've also given us a lovely end-of-week prize. So we'll be running a competition with McGee's where you can win a lovely prize every day, and then one of you will go on then to win a end-of-week prize. That's exciting, isn't it? And also to say what is back, and we have a €100 voucher for the Inishowen Gateway Hotel in Buncrana. We'll give that away on Friday, but every day if you enter, you're also in line to win a lovely mug as well, and we'll see what else we can rustle up for you. So as we head towards the Christmas, of course, and we're in it now as far as I'm concerned, we've got loads of great things, competitions for you to get involved in. So let's start with the newspapers, and it's going to be cold for the rest of the week until Friday anyway. Donegal County Council is preparing its snow ploughs amid warnings that temperatures will continue to plummet this week. Officials from the local authority met with the National Emergency Coordination Group yesterday to discuss measures being put in place to mitigate the impact on public services. Since the big chill took hold, over 1,400 kilometres of Donegal's public roads have been gritted 3 times per day. The programme's likely to continue in the short term. We'll get an update on the weather forecast for the coming week. I've not heard any great predictions of snow, but we'll get experts on who will let us know what the story is. That's coming up later on in the programme, so stay tuned for that as well. Right, okay, Derry news this morning, and the threat of closure is hanging over the iconic Derry Youth and Community Workshop, as well as several other community organisations across the city and district. DYCW, which employs 27 people and caters for more than 360 young people across 3 educational programmes, may have to close its doors at the end of March 2023 due to funding cuts. According to Declan Doherty, DYCW's chief executive, the Women's Centre, Triax, 4 Hours Recycling, New to You and Job Directions in Strabane are also at risk of closure. On to the national newspapers now. Let's go to the Irish Times. I'm not sure what you think about this. I think we have a process in terms of our planning process that gives people an opportunity to come together and let their views known. I can think of a number of examples of, particularly often sometimes in towns, where something is proposed. You've a lot of residents that live on a road towards this new development, or they're concerned about noise or smell or whatever it might be, and they're able to come together as a collective and lodge a planning objection. That, to some extent at the very least, could be on the way out. Residents' associations will be barred from taking High Court action against planning decisions under a sweeping overhaul of planning laws that will boost the power of public bodies to intervene in the property market. The move to make it more difficult for objectors to challenge planning decisions is part of the biggest shake-up of the planning regime in decades, as Minister for Housing Darragh O'Brien pushes to accelerate the delivery of new homes. Draft laws set for cabinet approval tomorrow are also understood to impose timelines in law on all planning decisions and appeals, with fines imposed where they are not met. Energy and other strategic infrastructural projects would be the first to face statutory deadlines. Now, there's a couple of things going on here. Firstly, there's quite a bit of housing. It emerged over the weekend that is ready to go. There's no legal impediment. There's nothing. The only thing that's stopping it going forward is, the proper approach. I hope we're not using something like the housing crisis. They do say never waste a good crisis. I hope we aren't using the housing crisis to change our planning laws, which won't favour really you or I, unless you're one of the very few lucky ones that might end up in social housing, if you're on a list or waiting for that. But, developers, people who are in the know and know what's what. Is it really, maybe some might feel, is this really designed to assist them down the line? And as I say, not wait a good crisis. Waste one. The Minister also wants, by the way, to increase the power of local authorities to make compulsory purchase orders, including measures to clarify how they can acquire vacant or derelict properties and sell them for development or residential use. I'm just curious, we did a piece on this programme not so long ago whereby it emerged, or at least it was claimed on the programme and no one contradicted it, that despite hundreds of you out there, many of you listening, offering homes for Ukrainians. Remember, it was 400 a week, now it was 800 a week, despite hundreds of you offering this gesture. None of you were contacted, or very few were contacted, and very, very few, if any, houses were actually ever given to Ukrainian families. Now reading again, hundreds of holiday homes pledged to house Ukrainians. I am just curious if any of you out there, and you can remain completely anonymous, of course, have any of you offered a house or part of your house or a holiday home or a second home through this initiative and had contact from the relevant agencies, and has it been processed? Because this was launched about 5 or 6 weeks ago, and we were told that they'd contact you in a week, then they'd inspect within a week, and then in a couple of weeks you'd have people moved into your property. Has that happened, I wonder? I've spoken to a couple of people that haven't even got a call back from the Donegal County Council, and they made a pledge a couple of weeks ago and haven't even received a call back yet. And we were assured that all councils would have dedicated staff to progress this. Now, it could be that I'm speaking to two people whose experience is not what's generally happening. That's why I'm asking you guys out there, have you offered property to home Ukrainians, and have you been contacted, and is that progressing? Let us know on 086 60 25,000. Well, ministers will be told today that hundreds of families have offered empty holiday homes as accommodation for Ukrainian refugees, with the government now set to fast-track assessment of the properties. The Cabinet Committee on Ukraine will meet this afternoon with several key decisions due to be made, including increased funding to communities dealing with the large number of refugees, as well as the potential establishment of new reception centres. It comes as government sources said that the latest projections show that up to 75,000 refugees from the country could have arrived in the Republic by the end of the year. And I also hear talk that they're going to establish a minister for Ukraine here. I'm not sure how it's being phrased, but they're very quick to act on that. The Irish Independent this morning, almost half of consumers would need to borrow money to cover a large unexpected bill. They would not have the cash at hand to fund a €3,000 bill for the likes of a major car repair, according to a survey commissioned by People.ie Insurance, which provides cover sold by credit unions. The survey found that 1 in 10 young people would resort to moneylenders to meet a large expense they were not expecting. Far fewer women have a rainy day fund than men, the survey of 1,000 people nationwide found. Almost half of respondents wouldn't have the cash available within a month to pay this essential bill, which is with a third needing to borrow. Close to 1 in 10 would not be able to get the money together at all to cover a large essential bill, with women almost twice as likely as men to fall short here, the survey conducted by iReach found, which is quite interesting in there, particularly the difference between men and women. I wonder what you could read into that. On to the Irish Daily Mail this morning, and their story focuses on the Minister for Health. His name is Stephen Donnelly. Taoiseach Micheál Martin has been warned that he'll face a backbench revolt if Stephen Donnelly is reappointed as Minister for Health. It's expected the three party leaders will finally piece together the much anticipated ministerial reshuffle today. The three will meet again against a backdrop of an increasing coalition lead over the Sinn Féin alternative, with a Sunday Times poll showing Fine Gael at 23 plus 2, Fianna Fáil at 21 minus 2, and the Greens at 5% plus 1, all together at 49, holding a commanding 15 percentage point lead over Sinn Féin at 34%, which is a kind of an interesting way of looking at it, because Sinn Féin is a single party and they're grouping together three other parties, two traditionally the biggest parties, suggesting that they've got this big lead over Sinn Féin, which of course no party is going to go into government on their own. So I think really you'd have to also within there trying to assess the makeup of the next government. Otherwise you're comparing apples with oranges. Why would you compare an entire government versus a single party in this fashion? Commenting on the second national poll in a row showing a double-digit lead for the coalition over Sinn Féin, one government source said figures like that aren't conducive to cabinet executions. There's a lot to be said for if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay. Who would be an alternative Minister for Health from the government? Do you have any suggestions? 086 60 25,000 if you would like Stephen Donnelly to go. If you're a supporter of those parties, who would you like to see in there in his place? If you are following the Jerry the Monk Hutch trial, today's an interesting day. State witness Jonathan Dowdall will come face to face with murder-accused Jerry the Monk Hutch in court today. Dowdall, who has turned state witness in the ongoing trial of Mr Hutch, will be brought out of Limerick prison this morning in a prison van accompanied by an armed Garda escort, it's understood. The armed escort will bring Dowdall from Limerick into the criminal courts of justice in Parkgate Street, where he's likely to be kept in a holding cell mere feet from Hutch before the trial gets underway at 11 a.m. The case has been moved from Court 11 to Court 17 this morning to facilitate the interest in the case and for Dowdall to possibly be brought in through an entrance typically reserved for a jury on the opposite side of the room to Hutch. It doesn't happen very often in this country where you would see someone who's turned state evidence in such a high-profile case and they themselves having such a high profile. There's going to be a lot of interest in that. The Sun this morning, an independent TD has vowed to support Housing Minister Darragh O'Brien in a Dole confidence vote. Matt Shanahan yesterday revealed he intends to support the government ahead of the showdown tomorrow. People Before Profit Solidarity have tabled the no confidence motion. They said homelessness and the housing crisis had reached breaking point and there needed to be a change in minister and a change in policies. But Mr Shanahan insisted problems in the sector had arisen over decades and 2 years were not enough time to turn the situation around. It'd be interesting to see what his constituents in Waterford think. He said Dole's legislative programme is backed up and this motion is a distraction. He called it a distraction, which you could probably make a strong argument because it doesn't... Effectively, he's not going to achieve anything, so you could, I suppose, argue that it is a bit of a distraction. And finally, in the Irish Daily Mirror, cash-strapped RTE paid out just over €80,000 on its new season launch event this year. And that's a significant sum of money. And to put it into context, 500 homes, say for instance 500 of you in different homes listening to this programme today, it would have taken 1 year's licence fee from all 500 of your homes to cover the cost of a promotional event. That's what's our money's being spent on. I find that particularly as they say that, you know, we need to crack down on people that aren't paying the licence fee and we need more money and all that kind of stuff. I think to spend 500 licence fees on just a promotional event is not a good use of money, and you'd wonder really if they think that is a good idea, and maybe you might feel it is a good idea. You'd make you wonder what they're doing with the rest of the money. Well, a Freedom of Information request has revealed the national broadcaster spent a total of €82,000 hiring out a room at the RDS to launch the autumn-winter TV schedule in August. 67,000 was spent on the venue hire and set design for the annual programme event. A further 5,000 went on catering costs for RTE. stars and clients. The Freedom of Information reveals that 2,312 was spent on taxis and transport to and from the event, while 870 was forked out on hair and makeup to get our stars ready for the big day. So a top for 500 of you homeowners out there, your entire year of license fee was spent on that one event, on makeup, taxis and set design and what have you. Right, okay, let us take our first break of the day. Back with our first guest in a couple of minutes.
The newspapers are courtesy of Kelly Centra Mountaintop Letterkenny, the C-Store National Large Forecourt of the Year for 2022.
The 9 till noon show, sponsored by McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny, with a great range of digital cameras, camcorders and binoculars for Christmas. McGee's, the photographic experts, where the best costs less.
Claire Clothing on Main Street, Letterkenny has 20% discount off all clothes. We can help you with your Christmas gifting. We have cosy sweaters, handbags, jewellery and gift vouchers with 20% discount off. Claire Clothing, Main Street, Letterkenny, beside the Bank of Ireland.
Brian McCormick, Sports and Leisure, Main Street, Letterkenny. Sporting games at home this Christmas. BCE and Riley pool tables for all the family in 5 and 6 foot options. Easy to assemble with easy folding options. 2-piece and 1-piece pool and snooker cues. Or for the boxer, check out our range of Adidas boxing gloves and accessories. Give the gift of sport this Christmas, in-store and online at bmcsports.ie.
A public service announcement from Donegal County Council. The County Donegal Heritage Office and the County Donegal Heritage Forum are beginning the process of preparing a new heritage plan for the county. The County Heritage Plan is a 5-year strategic plan for the identification, conservation, management, promotion and interpretation of our built archaeological, natural and cultural heritage. You can have your say by completing the online questionnaire or by making a written submission by email or post. Further details are available at donegalcoco.ie/heritage. Donegal County Council, serving the people and heritage of Donegal.
Ho, ho, ho!
Pet Value, Ballbuffet and Buncrana have a fantastic range of Christmas stockings, toys, treats and leads, with 40% off selected pet beds while stocks last. We have a wide range of animals and birds in both stores. Pick up the perfect gift for you or your pets this Christmas at Pet Value, open 7 days.
Skull Columkill Letterkenny now enrolling boys and girls for September 2023. Come visit our new school on Tuesday the 13th of December at 10 a.m. or Wednesday the 14th at 1 p.m. Enroll in school or on our website at skullcolumnkilllk.ie. Open until the 28th of February. Skull Columkill, growing and learning together.
For all your home heating needs, oil, gas and solid fuels. National Fuels, Pierce Road, Letterkenny, 9137400. National Fuels, bringing you the time at
9:23. Okay, let's say a good morning now to Niamh. Good morning, Niamh.
Morning, Greg.
Nice to have you on the programme. Right, Niamh, we were talking about road maintenance at the start of the programme. You have your concerns about an area of Letterkenny.
I want to talk about the Bernard McGinty Town Park.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're on to the 5th day now of this very cold snap, and that park never be gritted. I'm a regular user of the park. I sometimes might go before midday, and if I fancy going back to it, I might go back, you know, before it gets dark.
Yeah.
You know, it's used quite regularly. There's a lot of people using it, you know, different age groups, and all of a sudden, the icy weather comes on, and it's not gritted. The gates are open. There's no signs up to say icy conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like that.
So the footpaths, do you think the footpaths within the park, obviously the access area, but the footpaths within the park need to be salted and cleaned, blowed, leaf blowers and all that kind of stuff?
Well, you know, Greg, they do be blowing leaves off the path.
Right.
But they don't, it's not gritted.
Yeah.
It has never been gritted.
Right, that's
a
yeah, because that, as you say, that would be a lot of people would use that as their daily exercise, and of course we're greatly encouraged to do that. If you live by the coast, I suppose you have the access to the beaches and there's no problems there. But for the arguably the main park in Letterkenny, for there not to be some sort of assaulting program for the paths around it, maybe it's a resources issue, but it would make an awful lot of sense what you're saying to make that facility available.
It would indeed, Greg. As I say, there's a lot of people regularly use that park, for different reasons. Maybe some people like to do a bit of exercise, but they're told to do, say, after operations. It's a lovely park. It's quiet and it's away from traffic, and there's an incline on it, which is all right. And then some people might even come into the park and walk over a bit and come back on the same level. They don't want to go down a little small incline, or maybe they're able to. But they make an effort. They make an effort to use the park.
Yeah.
But now we're into the 5th day now of these icy conditions. And
and of course we have another 5 days of very cold nights and days whereby it's probably not going to be mild enough to thaw out the paths that you talk of. Were you down there recently, Niamh, to check it out yourself, or do you know from the past and are too afraid to go down, or what's the story?
I was down on Saturday morning there, Greg.
And what was it like?
So around 10 o'clock. You would need your ice skates to go on it, if you were able to. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I get you. All right,
and
then.
I imagine as well, the park run as well was on every Saturday. I mean, I'm sure it was cancelled as well. Even on Sunday morning, nothing was any better. Yeah. No gritting. Very icy.
Well, listen, we'll get on to the councillor and see what they say. I think realistically, can we expect every footpath, every road to be treated? No. Can we expect one of the main exercise parks in Letterkenny to be treated? I think the answer to that is yes, because it can't be out of commission for a couple of weeks. It wouldn't make much sense.
No. And the people drive even to the park. They drive from different areas, surrounding areas,
of course,
to get their bit of exercise.
Yeah. Well, listen, we've got
people walk to it.
We've got a council employee on the programme later who will be able to put this question to directly on your behalf, Niamh. So I will get an answer for you, whether you like it or not. I'll get an answer for you one way or another a little later on. So stay tuned for that, will you?
I expect I'll get an answer. Some way or another, of course, Greg.
Exactly. We shall see if it satisfies. Yeah. Okay, listen, thanks, Niamh. Stay
very
safe
much,
out
Greg.
there.
Happy Christmas
and happy Christmas to you, Niamh. Lovely to talk to you. Marie, a frustrated motorist, would that be a fair way to describe you?
Definitely. Yes, definitely, because I couldn't even take the children to school this morning because we live up a brae, so it's very treacherous. A lot of ice and all on it, and at the bottom of the brae as well. And as well, at least the council could dump stuff off so people could scatter it out themselves.
So in these type of conditions, that road's unusable for use in any safe way, I imagine then, so?
Yes, definitely. Even falling on the road, like, to break your leg or anything. So I don't know what they're doing with the money. At least they could put lumps here and there for people to scatter themselves and do their own work.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair. We're paying our tax on our cars and we don't even get anything in return.
And how many houses are served by that road, Marie? Is like there's a number of people.
Oh, there's so many. Yeah,
right.
They are a good few people, and everybody would help out. At the council would come along and start instead of sleeping, come along, dump it off, and let everybody get on with it.
So put some sand or grit at the top of the hill, and people then themselves could get together.
Even leave it at the bottom of the house so people can work at it. The men can get out and work at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, this is happening in the Fannaboy area. It's all happening in Cashnagore and all around where there's school down there. And their children, stuff and everything. I'm just angry at the moment.
Of course, and you've had to keep them home as well too, have you?
Yeah.
Right, okay. All right. Yeah, because as well as that, Marie, I'm not asking what your situation is, but let's say, for instance, you had to leave the house today, you know, and you didn't have someone to look after the children and they were of an age. Like, it's not just a missed day school. This could actually disrupt an entire family's plans, work, and hospital appointments, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and if people are doing cares and stuff like that, trying to go to other houses to help whoever out, well, what will happen then?
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you.
Yeah, so
All
that's
right.
my rant for today.
Marie, we'll make an inquiry about your area and see what has to be said. I don't think just to have some sand and grit, and you see it in different areas, I don't think that's an unreasonable request. And as you say, someone with a tractor or whatever could go and spread it, and so you can get in and out. Because there's lots of reasons. As I say, it's very easy to say, oh, well, sure, it's a nice day off for the children. But as you talk about carers, you know, God forbid if you have to take someone to the doctors, there's a number of reasons why it's very important that a lot of these roads are usable.
Yeah, that's true, Greg.
All right, listen.
Okay.
Have a cup of tea, Marie.
All right, thank you.
Okay, take care. Happy Christmas, Marie. Have a lovely day. Okay. Greg, Donegal County Council. It's a disgrace having to get children to school and doing carers. Not a bit of grit on or by roads in the Cashanagore or Fanaboy area. The roads are very, very treacherous, they say. Hi, Greg. It's people who are in the know. How buying up properties and jamming the Ukrainian people into them, hence making big profits for themselves. It's not the Ukrainian people's fault. I really feel sorry for most of them. Just ordinary people like ourselves hope they pay all their taxes on the big profits they're making out of these people's misfortunes, and some money in circulation, isn't there? I mean, we have over 5,000 people here in an emergency accommodation, none of them in homes. And if the offers for these homes had been taken up, people would be spread out, you know, rather than being rushed in, and people obviously that knew how the systems worked, able to, and I'm not saying, you know, they maybe thought they were doing their bit for refugees. I'm not presuming their motive, but it ends up that you get lots of people living in certain areas, which puts pressure on all manner of services. If the lovely generosity of people had been taken up, we would have a more a spread population, which presumably would have had its benefits as well, but I don't know. Time will tell what went on there. Right, okay. I'm going to take a very short break, and then I'm going to speak to Patrick after these.
The 9 till noon show, sponsored by McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny. See all the magic of Christmas with McGee's online photo lab, open 24/7, delivered to your door or collect in store.
6 wardrobe clear-outs, 3 look changes, 1 night in a hotel lost and found, and 10 years of being your favourite. It's fair to say that cardigan has staying power. Irish design and craft isn't just made local, it's made to last. Support makers and find something you love for ages at madelocal.ie. Made local, made to last. Supported by Design and Crafts Council Ireland.
Save hundreds of euros on custom charges when doing your Christmas shopping online with Space Hub Dairy. We provide a full virtual address mailbox service for all your Christmas parcels and post. Save hundreds, possibly thousands, on custom charges this Christmas with Space Hub Dairy. Call 048 7187 8077 for more details.
If the medical experts get it wrong, everything changes. From misdiagnosis or delayed diagnosis to surgical injury or even poor treatment. All have physical, emotional and financial consequences. We're here to help. So if your treatment didn't go according to plan, speak to our experienced medical negligence team at McElhenney and Associates. Find us online or call 074 917 5989. McElhenney and Associates Solicitors, Stranorlar. In contentious business, a solicitor may not calculate fees or other charges as a percentage or proportion of any award or settlement.
It's not just that Sammy has lost his home in the conflict. It's not just that everyone he's ever loved is gone and he's been forced to walk hundreds of miles alone to find safety. And most of all, it's not just that Sammy is only 7 years old. Like thousands of children in regions torn apart by conflict, Sammy is living in fear, and it's not just. This Christmas, your love can make all the difference. Visit trocre.org or call 1800 408 408. Trocre. until love conquers fear.
Massive stock clearance promotion now on at Hegarty's Home Interiors Buncrana. See the best selection of sofas, beds and sliding robes, all at unbeatable prices with free delivery included. Our best sale items include 4'6" bed set, mattress base and headboard was €499, now €379 for the whole set. Lots of floor model sofas available for immediate delivery at amazing prices. And don't forget about our carpet and wood flooring showroom with a great selection of luxury carpet and wood flooring to choose from. There's also a full fitting and delivery service available. Hegarty's Home Interiors Buncrana. Great furniture, always better prices.
As you would be aware, many of you would share the concerns that we could be facing problems if we move to or transition to a cashless society. Patrick is a case in point. Patrick, good morning to you.
Yes, and good morning to you too, Greg.
Tell us what happened to you recently,
Greg,
Patrick.
Oh, yeah, well, a few things over a period. Could I just mention a few things first, Craig, just to get to where I'm coming from? I don't do any type of technology. And I would mention that some facts that in the UK in the last few years, 4,000 banks have closed. 12,000 ATMs have been withdrawn. And in Ireland, I think we're slipping into we're going sleepwalking into a situation we don't want to be in. And it seems we don't know it because we have become obsessed with technology, not realizing that we are on an exclusion course, which we are. And cards and online banking are essential and they should be used, but not at the expense of people like myself and other vulnerable groups. And businesses need to put up on their door a sign to say, you're not welcome if you don't do cash. Put it up in whatever manner they like. We just don't do business in cash. But we'd also need to remember when they do it that they are barring some people from using their product. And they're really saying, we don't want your custom. Now, I have been caught where I went in for health treatment and I went in to pay. I got me treatment and I was told we don't accept cash.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to call a family member in the car park to come in and pay.
And the first you knew about this was when you were to take your cash out of your pocket or your wallet, and they said, no, it's card only.
Yes, I had it on the counter.
What does
no,
that
I'm
feel
not saying
like?
I didn't look it.
Because we often talk about it, in texts and sound bites and all, but we don't actually often talk about how does that feel. So, Patrick, in that moment, how did that actually make you feel that your money was not good enough for this business?
Yeah, well, I tell you, I did feel low because I felt like a fool. If it had been up at the door, they should be put it up. If they don't want to accept cash, put it up in the door and not let us go in there sleepwalking into the shop and we don't know nothing about it. We may have to...
Okay, the line's dropped there. Patrick will return.
For instance,
the line just dropped there, Patrick. My apologies. So you talked about how you were feeling low and isolated. Sorry, that's not your fault, it's ours, but go ahead.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. Another incident was we rented a house and on the first day was Saturday, so we went to do our shopping and the family put in their car to get money for the food. The machine was faulty and kept our card.
Mm.
And there was absolutely nothing wrong with the card, but there was a lot wrong with the machine. But we didn't know that. Because there was other cards, we were told that other cards were brought in the same way. So we had no food for the weekend, but lucky enough we had a few pounds to have a few meals.
So you think and you used the phrase "we're sleepwalking." You see, there's a couple of things going on here, Patrick. Firstly, there's a lot of people choose not to use cash; they just use cards, and then sometimes problems occur, and then they come up with solutions, and then there are others, of course, that think cash is king. And also, I just want to reference the government as well here, if that's all right, because they are introducing a bill which would mean businesses cannot refuse cash, and they also want a minimum amount of ATMs and ATM availability. I mean, do you welcome the fact that the government would seem to see the importance of cash in the near to medium future at least?
Yeah, but up till then, Greg, what we're going to have is we should have shops, including pensioners, vulnerable people. They should be serving them because we had an example of that with the AIB. They're closing 7 branches because there was no footfall. And the people that are supporting that campaign by the banks are the shops. If every shop, until the government introduce something, if every shop refused cash, what would happen there is the bank would say, there is totally no need for us whatsoever, we'll close. And when they close, Sean, I'll keep you calling, Sean.
It's fine, doesn't matter, Patrick, go ahead.
Yeah, when they do close, you're going to have a situation where you have the transactions free at the moment, maybe, and in some cases you might pay 1p. But we'll do it in cash altogether, and we'll see your position, because this may happen in the future.
Oh yeah, right. I think it will.
What will happen is the carrot will go, the free banking, of course the 1p. The 1p charge. So what you'll have then is you may be asked to pay 50 pence on a transaction that costs £5, and you might be asked even to pay £1. And I'm going to ask you, Greg, what do you think you'll be able to do about it if there's no cash? You won't be able to do anything. Well, that's why we're sleepwalking.
And you make a good point too about AIB used the argument for closing their branches in that there was very little footfall. But they also, for the most part, used statistics from COVID when we couldn't go into a bank. We couldn't even bloody leave our houses. So we have to make sure that facts aren't being repurposed to suit agendas. I mean, that is something we have to be... in fairness, AIB were called out on that, and they had to reverse their elements of their decision. But, what you're saying, we have seen evidence of that already happening to some extent on certain levels.
Yeah. And reason, Sean again, if for some reason, Greg, that we'll take it, technology collapsed. We have to be ready for every situation, right? Technology collapsed for some reason. And the question I'm going to ask you is this. If you had no internet, you had no cards, you had no banking. You tell me your next move.
Well, I've seen it. I seen it in a premises, and it was very, very busy, and the internet went down, and they handled it as best they could, but it was chaos.
Yeah,
because no one had cash.
Yeah,
and everyone was standing with cards, right? And because the internet went down, that was it. And apparently, it takes a while to reboot these systems. So. I mean, as I say, the business did its best, but I've seen what it's like, and it was chaos because everyone's arm, one arm was long as the other. Very few people had cash.
Yeah. But I want to put it from a different angle, Greg. I'm putting it to you. If the banks shut, you had no card, you had no internet, you had no way of getting money from your friends, absolutely no way. What would you do? I'm just putting this scenario. I just want to see your response.
So if I had no access to cash and my cards went down,
everything went down, what would you do?
Well, to be honest with you, I know because I've been at stages in my life not that long ago where I didn't have 2 shillings to rub together, and all of a sudden you quickly start running out of milk and bread and food, and it's panic stations.
The only way you're going to get living is if you rob the shop. Of course, there won't be enough food to go around. But anyway, there is no way out of it. However, I'll tell you this, Greg. If you ask any pensioner, the answer to that. And the reason why I'm saying pensioner is, if you go back to the 1970s, that situation existed. There was absolutely no internet, of course, then, no cards, no bank. They went on strike for 3 months.
Mm.
Right. Now, any pensioner would know this, but young people don't know it. What you did do was you had your cash, you had your friends, you had your shopkeeper who knew you, and you were able to go and tick. If you were, say, a farmer, which I done at the time, you send your whatever you produced into the factory, you got your check, and when you had to pay for your feedstuff, you passed that check that you got from the factory onto the feedstuff. And shops went on tick, friends loaned money, they borrowed money from friends, but everybody managed. But now today we have this smart system, it's smart everything now, of course. And I put the question to you a minute, what would you do if the whole system collapsed? And your reply is we couldn't do nothing. It doesn't say very much for a smart economy.
It doesn't, but you are also sort of framing it in an apocalyptic scenario. In other words, the absolute worst case scenario. That being said, modern wars will not be fought on battlefields. They'll be fought in computers and technology. And we've got interconnectors running to the United States. If someone took an ocean to sever them, we as a society would be running around like chickens with our heads cut off. So I mean, there is the scenario you lay out is not impossible, but it is the worst case scenario. I mean, you know what I mean.
But it's not the worst case scenario. If I said, Sean, Greg, that we'll take it that happened today. We'll take it that there was a breakdown in the communication thing. If shops continue to serve people in the way they do, kept the cash going, this won't happen again. We'll get our checks, we'll pass them over, we'll have our cash, you'll be able to shop. Your internet might be down for a bit, but you will manage. But if you're totally relying, which a lot of people are doing, on the services of these companies, you won't get by. And I think it should be just a wee bit smarter than that.
Yeah. But I mean, like, if phones went down, sure, how would you even contact your bank or the government or the council or,
Exactly. So what we do is we don't sleepwalk into a situation. We prepare. And there's things happening here, and I don't think we're preparing for nothing. Now, you give an example of a country who tried us out. It says, if you look at Sweden, who really drove the move to cashlessness, right? They took away their cash infrastructure and then discovered huge issues with millions of people being totally cut off from accessing products. And they then had to put in some of the cash provisions back, and which was very costly to do. That's where we're going. And the more people that go into shops who pay with cards, and the shops don't want the cash, they are encouraging the banks to say, look, all these transactions, 90% of them were all cards and all that. What are the banks going to do? They're giving us out money from the ATMs. Shops won't take it. So what's the use for cash?
And also, though, you'll get some businesses that won't take card either.
Well, that's not right either. I don't approve of that. The cards are needed. The online is needed. But for a small amount of people that, only about 500,000, won't be able to do the system. It's quite a substantial number.
We spoke to a man in who was over in London last week, and there was a problem with his card, and he was banjaxed. He had no cash over.
Yeah,
the only way he actually managed to survive was that he happened to be with friends or family that were able to help him out.
Yes,
but
that's right.
He was finished.
Right.
He had no access to money at all. Isolated in London with no money, and only for people who were able to dig him out. What would he have done then?
Yeah. Well. Do you think we're living in a smart economy? I think we're living in a stupid economy. Because Because older people, pensioners today, which are not very good at this card system or banks, they could tell you how to manage, but we don't know ourselves how to manage if we're young.
But what's your do you chat to young people in your life, Patrick? Their view on cash. I mean, if you look at young people, they've got the phone out, they're tapping, they're revoluting. I mean, I don't watch closely what people are doing, but how many young people are actually using cash? I mean, do you not think that it's possible we will actually just move away from using cash for right or wrong anyway? You know, I don't think there's a big drive for us to do it. I just think people are transitioning themselves. As I've said it before in the show, I really just don't carry cash because I'd be afraid of losing it, and I find it easier to do it the way I do it. But I have found myself to go and get the car washed, for example, and or something that requires cash, and as I say, I feel like a muppet then because I'm sitting there with no way of paying, and I have to say I'll be back in 5 minutes, run to an ATM, and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, Greg, young people are all for it. That's great. That is great. But a lot of times young people are not so sure what's down the line for them, and it's up to us to say, this is what's down the line for you. I've been interested in this subject for a minimum 10 years, and anybody I know, that's to do with young people. They're all for it. They're great at it, and they are very good at it. Now, I've been speaking to I've took an interest in this subject for the last 10 years. Anybody I know, I get talking to them. What do you think of this card system, ATMs and online? And it's a very. I'm talking about people my age now. They're the people I'm concentrating on. Very few of them are for it, and it appears that people maybe like yourself, Greg, you're very good at it, and other people are very good at the system, not just you. And they what was I going to say about it now? I was looking at what the older people are doing, and they're not able for it.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, there might be a health reason, it might be confusion, it might be bad memory. But I have been keeping an eye on the older people.
They just like to speak to or it could just be they like to speak to a human being. It's very hard to get through to a human being on phone lines, and they also just like to have the cash in the hand because, I mean, you've been through a few crashes, Patrick. You know, you probably have a distrust of banks because you know what can happen when bankers get it wrong. The 80s, the most recent, and ones before that as well. Whereas if you've got your cash in your hand, you know, you're always going to be okay. You don't have to rely and trust the banks.
Yeah, well, you must remember, Sean again. You must remember.
I'm charging you 50 cents now every time you call me Sean. That's a new tax, Patrick.
Yeah, well, I don't have a card, so Greg, you can't take it.
Stuff it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, what was I going to say about Greg?
That's my fault. What I was saying is that, you know, historically people over time can have a distrust of banks, and they know if they have their cash in their hand, they're always going to be able to get along. Whereas if it's all digital, you know, and I think that comes with experience and having seen what happens, the highs and the lows over a number of decades, Patrick. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. Well, you must remember what's happened here, Greg, and it's happened to me and it's happened to everybody else, pensioners, and it's not just pensioners. The young people can't do it either. You must remember, too, that when we went to school, a lot of us never went. And then we're expected to dig into this digital system. And a lot of people are not just able for it. And I'll ask you the question. Right, if you were 70 and you had little schooling like we had years ago, would you be able to adopt to a different type of technology?
No, I see it already, Patrick. I see it already where things that come incredibly easy to my children that I look at and go, right, where do we even begin? I know exactly. I do understand exactly where you're coming from. And also to, you know, we've had the conversations, Patrick, we talk about this, older people who prefer to use cash, or people of any age can't walk up and pay to go in and watch a football game, for crying out loud.
That's right, the GAA.
You know, I mean, there are numerous examples. Anyway, Patrick, listen, I have to go take a break before the news. The majority of people agreeing with you, by the way, which I don't think that'll surprise you, because you'll know, you know yourself. You talk to a lot of people out there, and you know where you're coming from, and it's obviously something you've well researched, because you're making very, very good points that would be hard to anyone to disagree with. Listen, Patrick.
Just one last wee thing.
Okay, go ahead,
Greg. Would you be able to adopt it? You couldn't say offhand.
No, I said no. I said I think it varies from person to person. I know I could, but I know there's people in my life that couldn't. I don't know I could. I hope I could.
And I think then, Greg, you'll be coming to asking Highland Radio to come to the rescue in years to come, if it happens to you in your 70, and they'll give you a handout. You'll be on the same boat as I am at the present.
Yeah, all right. Listen, Patrick, as I say,
okay, Greg, and
great
thanks
points,
for having me.
Great points, well articulated. Okay. Thank you so much indeed for that. That's Patrick. What do you think? 086 60 25,000, WhatsApp or text to that number, please.
The 9 till noon show, sponsored by McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny, with all your perfume and aftershave presents this Christmas. McGee's, delivered to your door, or you can collect in store.
Your next move matters, so why not move better? Start your move to permanent TSB today. Apply in-app for our award-winning current account. So don't just move bank, move better. Apply in-app today.
Applications for Explore Current Account in-app for over 18 personal customers. Qualifying criteria, fees and charges, terms and conditions apply. Awarded bonkers.ie Best Current Account 2022. Permanent TSB PLC is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
The choices we make determine where we're going. Where will your choices take you? Visit Kelly's Toyota, Letterkenny or Mount Charles, and join the thousands of Irish drivers who swap diesel for Toyota Hybrid Electric, lowering their emissions and fuel costs. We've Ireland's widest hybrid electric range, including the Toyota CHR and Yaris Cross. Don't miss out. Order today at Kelly's Toyota, Letterkenny or Mount Charles. You'll never take a wrong turn with Toyota. Built for a better world.
Shop for toys from all the leading brands this Christmas at Foy's in Ballybuffet. Great value on all the latest toys, ride-ons, bikes and Bear go-karts. New deliveries arriving every week. Great offers on best-selling brands like Lego, Brooder and Schleck. From Cocomelon to Gabby's Dollhouse, you'll find great gifts for everyone on your list with a visit to Toys at Foy's Ballybuffet. Pay in 3 easy instalments with Klarna and shop local this Christmas with nationwide delivery at toysatfoys.com.
Burglars are now doing their Christmas shopping. And guess what? They might just be calling with you. Install a wire-free burglar alarm from Sheridan Security Systems before December 31st and get 6 months round-the-clock monitoring free. Contact us today on 912-6025 for a free quotation. Have a peaceful Christmas with Sheridan Security.
Express Frozen Food Store Derry open to the public 6 days a week, offering catering quality frozen food at unbelievable prices with an excellent rate on the euro. Express Frozen Food Store Derry. You'll find us just before the Brunswick Movie Ball. Great food, great value with an excellent rate on the euro.
And now the Highland Forecast, brought to you by Shop LK. Widespread Christmas shopping this December in Letterkenny. See shoplk.ie or like us on Facebook.
Bright and bitterly cold this morning with a severe frost, icy conditions and freezing fog which may linger through much of the day. There'll also be isolated wintry showers and accumulations of snow possible. Afternoon temperatures reaching just -2 to +2 degrees. Now, this week on the 9 till noon show, we've got a fantastic hamper from McGee's Chemist in Letterkenny. It's worth over €500, and that's going to be given away on Friday. It contains a Lancome Christmas hamper. Sorry, that's what it is. A blank canvas tools to match your talent 20-piece brush set, a Be Perfect Iconic Essentials set, a bottle of Chanel Bleu de Chanel for men, a bottle of Victor and Rolf Flower Bomb EDB spray, and a 20 by 16 inch gallery wrapped canvas from McGee's, so you can have your favourite photo wrapped in canvas ready to hang. We've also got 5 daily qualifiers to be in that draw on Friday, and today's qualifier will win a 50 millilitre bottle of Chanel Coco Mademoiselle EDP spray. Right, so what do you do to enter? All you have to do is name the well-known actor who played 6 different roles in the Polar Express. Which actor played 6 different roles in the Polar Express? Text your answer, your name and where you're from to 08660 25000. 08660 25000. You can win a 50ml bottle of Chanel Coco Mademoiselle EDP spray today, and then you'll be in the draw for that hamper worth over worth over €500 thanks to our friends at McGee's Chemist in Letterkenny. So get entering. Back after the news and obituary notices.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. A Donegal member of the board of Uthers na Gleatha says investment in broadband and other vital infrastructure is paying dividends in Donegal. Councillor John Hamish O'Farry was speaking after it was confirmed at the weekend that Coratinia in Anfalchara, trading as Celsius Limited, is to create 53 new posts with the help of Uthers Investment. The firm manufactures wireless temperature control technology for the food and retail sector. Councillor O'Farry says the Gaeltacht is more attractive than ever as an alternative to large urban areas.
The broadband is enticing a lot of clients to come to the Donegal Gaeltacht, not alone the investment but the scenery. You know, the last 2 years we had COVID and a lot of people want to move out of the cities and go into the countryside for fresh air and a different climate and different life change. Donegal Gaeltacht is there. The Uthers has invested a lot of money in the last number of years, and hopefully now this will continue and we'll see fruition in other areas in the Gaeltacht.
Houses need to be built faster and delivery needs to be better. That's according to Micheál Martin, who in his final week as Taoiseach says housing is the biggest issue facing society. His comments come as the Housing Minister, Darragh O'Brien, is set to face a no-confidence motion in the Dáil this week. The Taoiseach says younger people need to be able to aspire to home ownership.
I do accept that this is the biggest issue facing society. And it's an issue that we have to deal with. We want younger people to have the right to aspire to home ownership. And then people who can't be in a position to aspire to home ownership, that we have social housing and cost rental that's affordable. And that's the challenge. But it is about supply, and that's why the planning issue is important.
The Taoiseach speaking there ahead of the presentation to Cabinet tomorrow of proposals to overhaul the planning authority on Broad Pleanála. Under the plans, fewer people would be able to take judicial reviews on planning decisions. Ministers are expected to approve the Planning and Development Bill. It'll also see on Broad Pleanála renamed the Planning Commission. Under the bill, residents groups won't be able to take judicial reviews of planning permissions, and local authorities will be given more control over the planning process. Well, political correspondent Paul Hosford says there is some concern within the Green Party about the changes.
There's a sense that residents groups pop up under names that could just be one or two people, and it gives the impression of a larger movement against something. The concern on the other side is about that access to justice, particularly on the environmental side. We are bound by the Aarhus Convention for environmental planning scenarios, and there are some, particularly in the Green Party, who are very, very concerned about whether or not they're actually complying with the Aarhus Convention.
An exhibition of the Peace Accolades awarded to the late John Hume has opened in Derry's Guildhall. The collection includes the 1998 Nobel Peace Prize jointly awarded to the former Foyle MP and SDLP leader and Sir David Trimble for their role in the Northern Ireland peace process, the Martin Luther King Jr. Nonviolent Prize bestowed in 1999 and the Mahatma Gandhi Peace Prize awarded in 2001 are also included. The collection was gifted to the people of Derry by the Hume family last year. It's now gone on exhibition in the Guildhall. The HSE is being urged to open 14 specialist long COVID centres across the country. Independent TD Dennis Nocton is making the call, saying only a third of the required staff for the clinics have been recruited so far. W. Nocton says 6% of adults are living with long COVID in Ireland at the moment. He says frontline workers who get it in particular should be given financial support by government.
The government needs to treat long COVID as serious an issue as the COVID pandemic itself. It also needs to ensure that all frontline workers who contracted COVID and subsequently ended up with long COVID are eligible for occupational illness support, because many of these staff now have exhausted their sick leave.
Well, Well, Donegal County Council urging people to be cautious on the roads this week as the current cold snap continues. Officials from Council attended a meeting of the National Emergency Coordination Group yesterday. Wintry conditions set to stay in place until Friday, with a yellow snow and ice warning in place. And Met Éireann are telling us today that it'll be bright and bitterly cold this morning with a severe frost, icy conditions and freezing fog which may linger through much of the day. Also some isolated wintry showers with accumulations of snow possible. Top temperatures -2 to +2 degrees Celsius. And that's Highland Radio News. Back with news again at 11 o'clock. Until then, good morning. The obituary notices for this Monday morning, the 12th of December. The death has taken place of Nuala Gallagher, Terhillion Terman. Nuala's remains will repose at her late home from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock this evening and from 12 noon to 9 o'clock tomorrow, with Rosary nightly at 9. Funeral from there on Wednesday for Requiem Mass at 12 noon in St Columba's Church, Terman, followed by burial in the adjoining graveyard. Family time, please, from 9 p.m. to 11 a.m. and on the morning of the funeral. Family flowers only, please. Donations, if desired, to the Donegal Hospice, care of McCafferty Funerals. The death has taken place of Rosa MacDonald, Tam, Main Street, Clonmany. Her remains are reposing at her home. Funeral from there tomorrow afternoon at 12:15, going to St Michael's Church, Urris, for Requiem Mass at 1 o'clock, with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to St Columkill Village, care of any family member or Comiskey Funeral Directors. House private, please, to family and close friends at the request of the deceased. Funeral Mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Angela Ivers, 9, Gaddy Duff, Clonmany. Her remains will repose at her late residence from this evening. Funeral from there on Wednesday morning at 10:30, going to St Mary's Church, Clonmany, for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, with burial afterwards in the new cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Comiskey Funeral Directors. Funeral Mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. The death has occurred of Madeleine Carroll, née Peoples, 5 Father McClune Terrace, Old Town Road, Letterkenny. Madeleine's remains will repose at her late residence from 12 noon to 9 o'clock today, with Rosary at 9. Funeral from there tomorrow morning, going to St Eunan's Cathedral for Requiem Mass at 12:30, with burial afterwards in the family plot in New Leck Cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations, if desired, to Hillcrest Residence Comfort Fund, care of Pascal Blake, Funeral Director, or any family member. Family time, please, on the morning of the funeral. The death has taken place of Desmond McGillan, Belfast, and formerly of Strabane, reposing at Quigley's Funeral Home, Strabane, this evening from 7 to 8. Removal from the funeral home tomorrow morning at 9:20 for Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Melmount at 10 o'clock. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam at melmountparish.com. The death has occurred of Patsy Sweeney, Green Hill, Letterkenny, formerly of Castlereagh. Patsy's remains will repose at his late residence from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. today, with Rosary at 9. Removal from there tomorrow morning at 10, going to St Eunan's Cathedral, Letterkenny, for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass, which can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Interment afterwards in St Mary's Church Graveyard, Remelton. Family flowers only, please. Donations to the Donegal Hospice, care of Conmacdade Funeral Directors, or any family member. Family time, please, on the morning of the funeral. The death has taken place of Margaret Laverty, Bridge House, Cooldaff. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:30 for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Buchan, Cooldaff, followed by burial in the adjoining graveyard. Family time, please, from 10 o'clock tonight and before the funeral tomorrow. Margaret's funeral mass can be viewed live on cooldaffparish.com. The death has occurred of Geraldine Brennan, née Bunner, 18 Emmett Park, Castlefin. Funeral from her late residence this morning at 10:30 For Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock in St Mary's Church, Castlefin. Cremation afterwards in Lakelands Crematorium in Cavan. Requiem Mass will be streamed live on the Ernie Castlefin Parish Facebook page. The death has occurred of Francie Boyle, Boyle Owen, Tubber Keane, formerly of Mulladuff and Manchester. Funeral Mass this morning at 11 o'clock in Star of the Sea Church in Annagry, with interment afterwards in the new cemetery. The death has taken place of Stephen Butler, Gordon Cool, Carndonagh. Funeral from his late residence this morning at 10:15, going to Sacred Heart Church, Carndonagh, for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass with burial in the adjoining cemetery. House private pleas from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. and on the morning of the funeral. Family flowers only please, donations if desired, to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Porter Funeral Directors. And the death has occurred of Marina McNair, née Fisher, 3 McNeely Villas, Letterkenny. Marina's remains are reposing at Conwall Parish Church. Funeral service this afternoon at 2 o'clock, followed by burial in the family plot in Gortley Cemetery. Family flowers only please, donations if desired, to Archview Lodge Residents Comfort Fund, care of Pascal Blake, Funeral Director. For more details, including any family health guidelines for wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Okie doke, you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. Good morning if you are just joining us. Right, lots of you texting in on the cashless society story, so let's get to some of those. It was Patrick's views, actually. It's an ongoing story, of course. A caller says, no cash means banks can charge more to put your money in, to keep your money in, and to take your money out. That 3 times banks are making money from people. Another high, I think if all went cashless, this will only leave the door open for scammers. But, I mean, scammers will always find a way. And long before... I mean, do you not remember we used to get it through the post? You'd open up a letter and it would be addressed to you and it would say that you'd won the lotto somewhere or other. And then they moved to emails and now they're onto our phones. So I'm not sure. I think scammers will always find a way to try and scam us. But I understand exactly where you're coming from. It makes it easier for them. I totally agree with Patrick. We need to keep the cash circulating or we will be in dire straits. And the way things are going, it won't be too much longer. Another, that man talking about banking has a good point. Common sense and vision also. Fair play to you. Another, no cash means no money for window cleaners, getting our lawns cut, a children's birthday card, tips in cafes, restaurants. No cash for coalman, car boot sales, buskers on the streets, car wash. No cash for a wedding present. No cash means banks and all government offices have total control on your money. Funny you should mention for wedding presents there, because someone sent me a picture recently of, I think it was a wedding invitation, and the couple's bank details were in the wedding invitation. So they said they would prefer money transferred to them rather than cash on the day, or indeed a present. What do you think about that? Is that the future? Would you, if someone sent a wedding invitation with their bank details in it, would you go, all right, really, that's handy? Or would you go, hello, what's going on here? There is, that's one of the most intelligent people you've had on your show. No bank, no electricity, no internet. You are powerless and at the mercy of the company that has all your money locked up and dependent on the government for help. And then they have all the control and you have nothing. Similar to the, you will do nothing without your vaccine passport. Wake up society before it's too late. Society's wide awake. No one's asleep here. This is as if people are enlightened and everyone is stupid. Everybody knows exactly the situation and have different points of views on it. No one's asleep. And in fact, it is the government themselves who are actually trying to protect cash usage, not other people. But I understand your point. It's just telling people to wake up as if everyone's silly except someone who believes they know everything. We're all learning and we all know, and we all have a lived experience on this planet. I mean, that being said, look at our property, though. Like, lots of people have mortgages. That's tied up with a bank. They hold all the cards effectively. If we don't pay them for a couple of months, they can take it from us. There is precedent out there whereby much of our life and very important aspects of our life are controlled by big institutions like mortgages. I mean, that would be one example. I'm not saying that's a justification for anything. I'm just saying, we say, oh, you don't want this to happen in the future. It's happening right now. There's already talk of power outages this winter, and Leo has said that data centres will be first to get cut off. No digital cash then. Well, that's not exactly how it might work out. Firstly, there's very, very, very low risk of power outages. What happens is a politician or a journalist asks Leo Varadkar or Micheál Martin, can you guarantee 100% there'll be no power shortages this year? They say, well, we can't guarantee anything 100%. And then the headline is, Leo Varadkar does not rule out power outages this winter. There is huge contingency there. The data centres have their own generators, by the way. We can get power in through interconnectors, and it would take an awful series of events for power outages. And if that were to happen, it could be in specific areas or like data centres. But as I say, data centres have their own power. So there's a bit of fear mongering going on there in terms of power outages. The reality is, and the people who run the power have said very, very clearly, there's a very, very, very small chance of that happening. I totally agree with Patrick. Cash was refused when I tried to renew my licence. It took ages for a family member to arrive with a bank card to get it done. Another, my card got blocked when I was on a trip, and only for my friends being with me, I would have been stuck. Read the man on saying businesses should display a sign saying cash not taken. I 100% agree with him. We do use a card, but not everyone does, and it's so unfair in them. And also, as the man said, if your card doesn't work for some reason, through no fault of your own, you are stuffed. I just wonder, will businesses routinely put that outside? Because I think people that only use cards, right, if they saw a business that said cards only and it was displayed outside, I think a lot of people that choose only to use cards might actually not use that business, because whilst they choose to use a card themselves, and I think this is kind of the space I'm in, it's not that I'm afraid of cash, but I fully respect people's rights and the way should be able to use cash if they so wish. So I think if businesses were to put cards, that signs outside that says card only, I think that would also discourage people going in there who use card only, because they would understand that their fellow person who chooses to use cash is being excluded, and who wants a society that excludes others. AIB business cards already charge 43 per transaction. Cash is legal tender. No one can refuse legal tender. Indeed. And as I say, whether you trust their motives or not, the government is trying to actually enshrine that in legislation currently. And loads of you texting in about roads as well. Okay, so we'll get to that in estates and footpaths. Those comments coming up for you shortly, but I want to give you a chance to check your bingo books to see if you are a winner today.
It's time for NCBI Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Monday the 12th of December. You're playing on the green sheet. The reference number is S6. It's game number 50. The numbers are 34, 79, 33, 9, 75, 4, 18, 63, 68, and finally 71. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your NCBI bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Think outside the box with your photos this Christmas for canvas prints, mugs and calendars at mcgee's.ie. McGee's Chemist Letterkenny, sponsors of the 9 till noon show.
With a smart meter, you can take full control of your home's electricity usage. But here's the important bit. Only if you sign up to an Electric Ireland smart meter plan. Our personalised usage insights will help you make the most of your electricity. So if you'd like to find out the perfect time to put on a wash, or see how your bill's looking on any day of the month, search Electric Ireland smart meter plans and find out the best plan for your home. Smart meter required. T's and C's apply.
From the smallest shrub to the largest tree in an awkward place, Donnelly Tree Services provide a complete range of tree surgery services. Whether you need to remove a dangerous tree or some nuisance branches, Donnelly Tree Services have the experience and expertise to carry out tree surgery to the highest of professional standards. call 083 005 9939. Donnelly Tree Services, Donegal. No job is too small, no tree is too tall.
Mike Denver in concert with guests Brendan Shine and Philomena Begley at the Mount Erigal Hotel, Letterkenny on January 6th and Millennium Forum Derry on March 18th. Tickets now on sale at both venues and ticketmaster.ie. That's Mike Denver with Philomena Begley and Brendan Shine in Letterkenny and Derry. The perfect Christmas gift.
This Christmas, Alone, the charity that enables older people to age at home safely and comfortably, is asking you to please share your warmth. We are helping thousands of older people and we need to grow to meet the demand for our services. Please donate at alone.ie and share your warmth. Alone.ie.
Candles, lanterns, Christmas trees, decorations and all types of lights. Everything you need for Christmas. Experience the magic of Christmas at Cooney's. Our biggest and best Christmas shop has outstanding value on lights and trees. There really is something for everyone at Cooney's Letterkenny Retail Park.
Celebrate this Christmas with champagne. Special moments deserve a special gift. At Armacolla Jewellers in Letterkenny, they now offer beautifully engraved tulip glasses, which can be decorated with dates and names to mark momentous occasions, with a bottle of Moët champagne or Prosecco sparkling wine presented in an elegant gift box. An ideal Christmas present. For more information, call into Armacolla in Letterkenny or online at armacolla.com.
This Christmas, millions of children across the world are suffering. Children in Somalia, Yemen and Ethiopia face starvation, but it shouldn't be this way. We have to do something. This Christmas, please go to unicef.ie to make a donation to help support children. Thank you.
Things we don't like to share. Uncomfortable moments under the mistletoe. Oh dear. Things we do like to share. Gifts, especially if they're from Samsung. Because this year, you can claim cash back on selected Samsung products with €220 on a Galaxy Z Flip 4 and €55 on a pair of Galaxy Buds 2 Pro. Merry Christmas to them and to you. Find out more at Samsung.com.
Purchase before the 20th December 22 from a participating retailer. Claim from Samsung within 60 days of purchase. T's and C's apply.
Okie doke. A caller says, does the HSE still send texts advising you've been in close contact with a person who has COVID and advice is mandatory to seek a testing kit? Received text at 1:08 this morning thinking about vulnerable people receiving a possible scam. Well, I've mentioned this. It is a scam. I've mentioned this on the programme on a number of occasions and I'll try and share it out in my social media. It is a scam. And you contact them and they'll say you have to make a contribution to postage or something and they clean your account out. So ignore those messages. You'll see with the URL as well. The URL is the address. But if you have ever any concerns about any of those scams, feel free to take a screenshot and message me on Facebook, my own Facebook, because I've constant access to that. I have no problem running over to make sure that you don't having a look at it. I'm not all-knowing, but I deal with that kind of stuff a lot through a program like this. And I've no problem checking it out for you. But 99 times out of 100, those texts are scams. Anything with a link in it. If you get a text with a link in it, the chances are it's a scam, especially if there's going to be some cost involved. Right, okay. I want to speak now to our next guest. Let me see, where is that? I've lost that sheet of paper. Right, okay. It's Declan's here with me now. Declan McGinty. 3 weeks now without his sheep and he's offering a very significant award for their return. Declan, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, so you had 34 horned ewes taken from your hill in Clogher in Barnesmore. Just to give us an idea of how big an operation this would be for someone to round up and lift that amount of sheep. It wouldn't be everyone would be able to do that, I'd imagine.
Not everybody would be able to do it. No, some people, you may need quite a good dog, to do it. But I would be a little bit suspicious maybe this was done at different intervals,
Right.
Because where they are, you wouldn't actually maybe be able to drive up and load up with a trailer, There's a few houses on the way. It could have been done as a smaller operation,
So when is this happened? And just for those who may have been in the area, where are they likely to have accessed your land to load these sheep up?
They would have accessed the land by a road which leads to Scottish one power, the one farm, you know,
Mm-hmm.
at Clogher. There's quite a good roadway up to that, you know. And it is very quiet up there. Once you're past the houses and that, like, you know, there's hundreds of acres that there'll be nobody on, you know. It's very, very quiet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the sheep were gone. Some of the sheep would have been taken in August probably, you know. They were gone when I gathered for shearing and to wean the lambs. I did notice that there was some sheep missing. But with the size of the mountain and the hill, like, you know, I just presumed that them sheep would turn up when I'd be gathering in November, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which can be normal enough at times, you know. You don't get them all at the first roundup, you know.
Yes.
So, but to my disappointment, when I went back to gather in November, there was another drove of sheep gone as well, you know. So there's a total of 34 missing.
Yeah, and they are missing. Now, they are marked with blue on the shoulder and a light bit of red behind the head.
That is correct.
So I mean, it's relatively distinctive in that people know where these markings are. What is likely to have happened to these sheep? I mean, they're tagged, presumably. So, what do you think has happened?
All tagged.
Yeah, what do you think has happened to them? What do you suspect?
Well, the tags, unfortunately, the tag thing, the department, and I'm sure people in the department would agree, the tagging system just isn't ideal. You know, it's quite easy to remove these tags and put in your own tag numbers, you know.
Yeah.
And the markings, I suppose, on the sheep, you can disguise. I suppose you can change. You can add extra marks or whatever you want, you know.
All you have to do is add one mark somewhere else, and someone go, "Oh no, that's
just add
two big
another
marks."
mark somewhere else. Exactly, you know. And the tags, that's for the tags. Like, you can remove the tags. The people will just cut them out and put in their own tags and sell them on, you know.
Yeah. So, do you think they've already been sold on, or do you think someone has these sheep on their property somewhere?
I would imagine the sheep have been moved on at this stage somewhere, you know. Some of the sheep you see were removed, people were taken prior to shearing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first ones I noticed. But as I say, I thought they would turn up when I'll be gathering the second, you know. But unfortunately not. But they would have been sheared, so it would be quite easily to change the markings on them, you know.
Now, you have offered a €1,000 reward to anyone that comes forward with information leading to the return of the sheep. So what is, I mean, how will someone be able to provide information here? Would they have to sort of have a suspicion as to who did this? Would they have to have seen the sheep being loaded up, or might recognise them from the...
Well, I would be hoping maybe... Yep. I think there's somebody out, there's more than one person involved in this. There could be more, and there's, you know yourself, like, there's always people hear things or see things, you know. Somebody may know something and they just might come forward, they might not. I really don't know, you know. It's just something that I feel very strongly about. If I could get the sheep back, you know, it would be great, but at this stage it could be, it must be, it's unlikely, I would say, you know. But I suppose you live in hope, you know. But just somebody might decide that they would come forward if they have, you know. Somebody knows.
Do you think they're likely to be moved on outside the county, Declan?
They're very possible. Like, this goes on, like, this sheep rustling goes on. Like, you don't hear about it a lot, you know. And it's normally smaller numbers, I suppose. You do hear of 10 and 12 sheep going missing from places, you know.
Yes.
But that there is, like, I've often lost 3 or 4 sheep up there, and you don't pass on your marks, you know. But this is a large number of sheep, you know.
And are these likely to have been moved through a mart, Declan, if they've been sold on? Because obviously, you know, there's a lot of people that attend marts religiously, whether they're buying or selling or not, and, you know, they would have a fine eye for detail. Is it likely that these went through a mart at some point or other?
It's possible. It is possible, yes, that they've been gone through a mart, but, like, you can't... you know, as I say, if the marks were changed on them, it's just impossible to identify them, you know. And then the tags would be changed in them, I'm sure. Nobody would sell them off.
How does that work in terms of the tags? I mean, how could someone get around just not fabricating, but getting 34 tags together? Would they have to lie about the sheep's existence? You know what I mean? It's a considerable amount of tags that really don't belong to any animals.
No, you order the tags, like, you'd order your tags from the department, and they would send you out a number of tags,
right.
You know?
Okay.
You just mightn't have that amount of sheep in your herd at the time, maybe, and you would always, there'd be tags floating. People who would be at that would make sure they had tags,
Right. Does that need to be
can
looked at?
department. Well, I would say, like the tagging system is not ideal. Like, it's very flawed, I don't know. And as I say, like Mayo is a big country. There are numerous sheep been stolen down through the years from Mayo, Like a lot of sheep. There's farmers have lost up in 100 and over 100. There was one guy in contact with me from Mayo, and he'd lost 150 sheep.
Yeah.
In the space of 3 years, Like, it's a huge loss. A huge loss. Like, the money end of it, it's not just the money. You breed these sheep and you get them used to where they run,
Yeah. It also,
takes time then to get...
And it also really then, it presumably creates question marks about use of this land, because I think we can presume, Declan, that these people have returned at least twice.
I would imagine.
Can you graze sheep on this land going forward? Can you trust? I'm sure you'll introduce some level of security or not, but you know what I mean. Like it's not just the animals itself. It's where they know that this is land that they've been able to take sheep from before, and it might be used for grazing sheep again.
Well, that's exactly right. Yes, you're suspicious all the time now, and like I normally put the sheep up there. And they're up there for the summer, like you don't go. But we're going to have to, if this is the way it is, you're going to have to gather them in more often, and that's a lot of work in itself, and keep counting at them, and it's just not, it's not feasible every day to go out the mountain and check your sheep,
No, and hopefully just
isn't.
Times aren't changing where this is just going to be a fact of life. But as you say, down in the likes of Mayo and all, they see a lot of this. So €1,000,
Well,
anyone that comes forward with information leading to the return of the sheep or the prosecution of the persons responsible.
Yes.
We have a contact number for you here. It's posted on your own social media, Declan McGinty, and there's pictures of similar sheep, 34 horned ewes missing. They're marked with blue on the shoulder and a light bit of red behind the head. That's likely to have changed now, but maybe it will trigger a memory from someone from 2 or 3 weeks ago that could give you information leading to their return. We wish you well with that, Declan. As I say, it's a slap in the teeth, to say the least. But we hope you have success in that regard, okay? Thanks for sharing the story with us.
Loss.
Yeah, of course it is, and it's also the loss in faith. Loss in faith of being able to farm in a semi-traditional, not semi-traditional way, but in a traditional way where you put your sheep out. You there's an expectation they'll be there when you return.
Exactly. Like, farming's not an easy environment to be in. Like, you have with the war in the Ukraine and that, like, meal and feedstuffs is all expensive, like, and it's not an easy livelihood at the minute, so. Right. No, listen, thank you very much for having me on.
Anything that helps, Declan. Thanks very much. Take care.
And if anyone knows anything, thank you very much.
We have your number here, and we'll pass that on. And, we've had reasonable success. We've had good success in the past with appeals like that. And if the right person is listening today, maybe they'll be able to hear. You can understand exactly where Declan's coming from. He's made his points there really very clearly. Recash, I take out €300 every week from AIB ATM in Ballybofey. Can only get 200 now. Limit was 600 before the bank is going to get their way cashless. Another, if you lose your card or it's frozen, the bank will tell you to come in to get cash. It doesn't make a difference. What will be their plan moving forward? Well, AIB had to reverse their decision, by the way, as it relates to some of those. A caller from Drumkeen says that if there is an accident on the main Drumkeen road, traffic is often diverted down the Drumbo Road at Elvin Shop, but this road is never gritted. It makes no sense. Surely the first thing should be done before traffic is diverted is checking it's safe to travel on. And I suppose things like that happen in a short period of time, but it's remarkable how often you hear of problems on diversions. Right, okay, let's get to a couple more comments here. Hi, Greg. The old Blue Banks Road is so bad we can't get up to the main road. Is there any way the council could drop off some sand to us, please, and leave some at the bottom of the road? The children had to walk up this morning to the main road to get a lift to get to school. So dangerous. Okay, that's the old Blue Banks Road. Dear Highland Radio, the car park at Ora Leisure Centre is gritted, so why not Bernard McGlinchey Town Park, both maintained by the council? Good point. Another time, the council put salt buckets in all estates. That way people could help grit the estates to help in particular school buses pick up children, because I did see, and school buses, drivers, they have to look after their vehicles and their passengers and what have you, but some just simply can't go to certain areas because the roads aren't treated. Ardra Daycare Centre will be closed today and tomorrow due to the weather. All right, thanks. The Robert Emmett's Bingo in Castlefin tonight has been cancelled because of the weather. Another, Greg, the Gritter went as far as Port Salon yesterday evening, then turned and went back up the road. Does the rest of Fanad not matter? The road doesn't end at Port Salon, they say. Another, Greg, it's the same in Killylaston with the gritting. The top of our road is gritted, but we live at the bottom of a steep hill, and it's like a sheet of ice. The council should leave grit and sand so that we could do it ourselves. Thank you. We'll see what the story is in that regard, because we are really at the start of our winter. And a lot of people aren't sort of saying, the council should do this and should do that. What they're actually, in terms of gritting it themselves, they're saying leave us some of the materials and we'll do it, which I don't think is an unreasonable request. It doesn't seem so. I'm travelling to work morning and night on roads that are not gritted. A few places where the council dropped off grit, and to be fair, a good few use it. There are some very bad places. I've heard it said that if there is an accident where you grit, you can be held liable. Is that right or not? I've never heard of such a case. I'm not saying it's not the case, but look, we do live in a litigious society. But if we go down that route, where does it end? Roads should be gritted to all national schools. Glen Covent National School outside Ballybofey Road never gritted there, they say. Another, hi Greg, I had more salt on my dinner yesterday than what Donegal County Council was putting on over the weekend on the roads. But can we not agree that the main roads were done well and regularly 3 times? Obviously, we as motorists have to assume quite a bit of responsibility, but that's the first text I've had that questioned the council's programme in terms of what they have set out to do. Glenties, Fintown, Mina Roy to Letterkenny, all passable. Thank you for that. A caller said, I offered 10 bedrooms in a B&B for housing Ukrainians. Despite several calls, I've had no communication from them. Then I was told the council was handling it locally, so I contacted them. That was 2 weeks ago, and to date, I've heard nothing. Why is it so? What is going on? What is going on where some people seem to know exactly how to do this, and other people try and do it, and no luck? What way? Who is looking after that? Greg, can you give a huge congratulations to the organisers of the tractor run from Milford to Creasley yesterday evening? There were about 200 tractors, lovely decorations. It was so beautiful to see the effort all tractor drivers had made to dress up their tractors. The run was for Down syndrome. Congratulations to them all from Carragart and Creasley. It was amazing. I was at it last year. Yesterday, a couple of people with the sniffles didn't want to head out in the cold. But I missed it, and thankfully some people were streaming it on Facebook, so I got to watch it. But I know from last year's one, it is a wonderful sight, and I could, even during last week, I couldn't encourage people enough to go out and look at it, because it's beautiful, and you get a real sense of Christmas.
Fill your stocking this Christmas at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny, sponsors of the 9 till noon show. McGee's.ie, or like us on Facebook for a chance to win some great prizes. Brian McCormick Sports and Leisure, Main Street Letterkenny. New for Christmas. Check out the O'Neill's Donegal Peak range for all the family. Lightweight padded jackets matched up with quarter zips and tees. Donegal training jersey for kids and adults from only €35. Save €10. New range of Donegal hats and accessories for that ideal Christmas gift. Give the gift of sport this Christmas. In store and online at bmcsports.ie.
Hi, Pat Short here.
And Face Short over here.
I can see that.
They don't know.
Okay.
They can't see it.
We're here to tell you about our new show, which is going to be in
Greenan Theatre, Letterkenny, Saturday the 7th of January 2023. Tickets €30 at angreenan.com.
Claire Clothing on Main Street, Letterkenny has 20% discount off all clothes. We can help you with your Christmas gifting. We have cosy sweaters, handbags, jewellery and gift vouchers with 20% discount off. Claire Clothing, Main Street, Letterkenny, beside the Bank of Ireland.
If something's free, why would you turn it down? I mean, a free haircut from a 5-year-old. Oh, no. Or a free sample of onion paste. Oh. Well then, how about a free tour of your neighbour's new shed? Sounds, well... OK, look, they were bad examples. But how about a free eye test and free glasses from the €69 range at Specsavers with your PRSI? Well, that sounds like something to smile about.
Book an appointment or find out more at specsavers.ie.
At Joe McGee Butchers, we have all your needs to make this Christmas dinner extra special. So, if it's a fresh whole turkey, a turkey breast fillet in a vac-pack cooking bag with a cooking pop-up timer, a ham joint or a succulent dry-aged sirloin steak, then call in to Joe McGee Butchers at Glencar Shopping Centre and the Letterkenny Shopping Centre, where we have Christmas all wrapped up for you.
With something for everyone, the Villa Rose Hotel, Jackson's Hotel and Anchorage Hotel have Christmas all wrapped up. Our gift vouchers will impress, whether for sumptuous dining or Sunday lunch, a luxurious spa day or hotel break, perhaps even a health club membership. Take the hassle out of shopping and give the gift of choice at the click of a button with an online voucher from villarose.ie, jacksonshotel.ie or anchoragehotel.com.
National Fuels Churchill. Delivering home heating oil in Letterkenny and surrounding areas. 9137 400. National Fuels. Bringing you the time at...
It is 20 to 11 this Monday morning, and we welcome onto the programme now Caroline McLaughlin, a partner at Callan Tansey Solicitors. Good morning to you. Caroline, thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Greg.
We're going to focus on the roads for this conversation. And I presume at this time of year, given the road conditions, we do see more, bumper-to-bumper stuff, skids, slides, crashes generally out on the roads.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt it's a dangerous time of the year. And I suppose the conversation about road safety and road accidents, what always alarms me is that these accidents can happen anytime. So while it is a particularly dangerous time at the minute, I think the statistics from the RSA last year told us that August was the busiest month for road traffic. So I suppose it tells us that we always have to be on our guard, and particularly at the minute we're facing very treacherous road conditions. And I suppose we just need to have that alerted caution and regard for other road users. So it's a particularly dangerous time at the minute as well.
Yeah, well, what happens in a situation, we'll talk about it more generally, but say, for instance, we've had calls today about car parks not being gritted and stuff. So say in a private car park, if someone were pulling in or whatever or taking off, they lose traction and crash into another vehicle. Is that treated the same as if it were on a public road, or what's the situation there?
Yeah, I think with the nature of the weather that we have at the minute, obviously it's very difficult for all property users to control the build-up and the accumulation of ice, and we see it in private residential estates as well, that the difficulties of getting out. The position with this type of weather is that we all have to be cautious. So it's the general principle: if there's an accident on the road in poor conditions, the poor conditions are there. It's not an excuse. Obviously, we know the council are out and gritting the roads and giving whatever best protection we can, but we all have a duty of care, and we have to show a high vigilance at this time as well.
But in terms of that scenario I laid out there, if someone crashes into another car in a private car park, it's the same rules apply, don't it, in terms of insurance or how's liability decided in a situation like that?
On a general principles basis, it's the same rules that apply. I think it would be very difficult to place any liability on. Obviously, for private car parks, the onus may be a little bit higher, if they were kept in poor condition. But I think it might be a far push to try and attach liability to the premises, given the particular difficult situation we're dealing with at the minute. I'm sure there's some private businesses might inform us what they're doing. Are they tackling it or not? Obviously, I suppose if you try to tackle these situations and don't tackle it correctly or adequately, that can cause difficulties for private. But generally, the basic principles will apply, that we all have to be careful. We have to realise the risks that are attached. We have to adapt our driving accordingly, and protect others.
Right, okay. So in the unfortunate event that you are involved in a road traffic collision, what's the first thing you should do? I think maybe we should presume that it's not a serious injury collision just for the purpose of this conversation, or maybe not, I don't know. But, say, for instance, you clipped someone in your vehicle on a main road, or they clipped you. What's the first things you should do?
Well, I think regardless of whether it's a serious injury or not, the same basic principles should always apply in these situations. And I suppose the introduction to this topic at any stage is always to remember that anyone involved in collision, whether it is a minor or a significant impact, they're in a vulnerable position. It's a situation maybe they haven't experienced before. We all read in the media about car accidents, and there's a lot of obviously very negative information out there as well, and negative situations that you arise was a very scary situation for someone. The advice that I would depart to clients, first of all, and it sounds obvious, but maybe not to everyone, stop your car, stop safely, ascertain how you are. Obviously, people may be shook up after an incident of that nature. Make contact with the Gardaí if you feel that is, if it's warranted in those circumstances. The second piece of advice that I would give is that you should find out how the other person is. So while you may feel something is very minor to you, and obviously we all jump into sort of protecting ourselves. You know, if I'm responsible, I'll say, well, sure, that was only a very small incident. We have to remember that everyone will deal with it in a different manner. So you should ask somebody if they're okay.
What if people are afraid that in doing so they'd be in some way admitting liability?
Yeah, sure. And that is the concern. And quite often, I'd say 9 times out of 10, people will say, well, they didn't even ask me, am I okay? You know, they've crashed into me, they didn't even ask, am I okay? Inquiring about somebody's well-being is not an admission of liability. It's not an admission of liability. It's not upon anybody to admit liability at a scene of an accident. So obviously the incident has happened, you're just dealing with the situation, finding out if people are okay. And also as a fact-finding mission, you know, I suppose when you speak to someone, you might hear kind of where they're coming from. Sometimes people will say, you know, I took my eye off the ball, I was changing the radio. It's amazing what people might comment about an accident at the scene.
And would you store that information to relate that to an investigative Garda?
Yeah, certainly.
So you would, I suppose it's the nature of it, but you could be then you have to be careful that someone is not trying to extract information or admission from you by them asking if you're okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, the simple answer to am I okay is a yes or no answer. Do you need medical attention? So that's the nature of it. So we have to be on alert, I suppose, as well to other situations.
Right. So say me and you were in a collision, right? And your car was damaged, my car was damaged, mine's an older car, and I'm like, well, sure, stuff it. You fix your cars, you fix your car, I'm fixing mine. I've got an appointment with the doctors. On we go, right? Someone doing that or leaving the scene of a collision, that is unlawful, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You should never leave the scene of a collision. You should, and that doesn't always mean that the guards need to be there. Obviously, most people would prefer the comfort of calling the guards and having that, I suppose, a witness of the collision occurring. But there's certain things that you can do yourself. You can take photographs of the scene. Sometimes if the guards are busy, and not every accident they will or can come out to, so exchange details. The guards will always insist that people exchange details, insurance details, dash cam footage. You may have dash cam footage, the other party may have, and that's hugely beneficial to have a video confirming precisely what has happened. Photographs, as I've said, and then take note, you know, things like the weather conditions, the speed that you feel somebody may have been doing, the registration number. And I suppose we're all in the age where most of us will have smartphones, you know, go in and write it. Just keep those details if you're asked to make
what is the usefulness of that, having all of that information? Like, is that in case it goes to court, or like what I mean, it's good to have a log of it for whatever reason, but primarily why is it advisable to do that? What could that information be used to your advantage for?
I suppose it's if you have to give a statement either to the guards or to your solicitor if you're instructing someone, it's very helpful that you can set out the full circumstances of any incident. And it's a memory, an assistance to your own memory as well, because obviously with the passage of time, little details can be forgotten. But if you felt that somebody may have been going particularly fast, if you noticed that there was a witness present, you know, it's important to gather as much information as possible, because while you may deal with the accident at the time and exchange details and everybody's fine, that may not be the case in a week or two, as I'm sure your listeners may have experienced, you know, a situation that seemed fine became not so fine after a period of time.
Now, it might be quite clear who's involved if there's 2 vehicles or 3 vehicles for that matter, but there's also some important information for someone who may have been in the area at the time of a crash, who may have witnessed it. There's some things that they would be advised to follow because they might find themselves pulled in or implicated in some way or other for right or wrong. So if you witness a road traffic collision, what should you do?
But if you witness a road traffic collision, you should make your presence known to the guards if they're at the scene or perhaps afterwards. And we always hear the announcements of the Gardaí looking for information. Like independent witness statements are very beneficial to investigate accidents. And it's not just at the point of collision. There's witnesses who may see the conduct of another vehicle, if there's a lot of overtaking involved or maybe dangerous behaviour. So if you're a witness, you should, I suppose, rather than sitting back, you should maybe know that the information you hold is beneficial and it's not guaranteed that the driver who may be closer to the collision has seen as much as you may have seen. So I think if you can make your presence known and to give a statement, and obviously whatever assistance can be provided at the scene of the accident as well.
Right. Now, let's just presume for the purpose of this question that the guards say, right, this was an accident, you've consulted out yourselves now, we see no evidence of speeding or dangerous driving or that. What happens afterwards? What happens once 2 people exchange insurance information?
So once you exchange insurance information, and I'm not sure in that scenario if you're saying that liability is admitted, but if we have a situation where an incident was clearly caused by one individual and we swap insurance details, normally what will happen is that the injured party, if we can call them that, or the person whose vehicle has been damaged, they will make contact with their insurance company with a view to getting the vehicle repaired. An assessor would come out and examine the vehicle, and then ultimately a value would be placed on it. Now, what you will get through the insurance company, if you claim from the other party's insurance company, ultimately you'll get a letter and it will tell you what the net book value of the vehicle is. So you may have a vehicle that you've had 10 or 15 years and it's going fantastic, and in your own mind you get another few years out of it, and you'd attach a certain value in your own mind to the vehicle. The net book value of the vehicle is the current value less depreciation over a number of years. So what you will find is that a lot of older vehicles will be deemed to be a write-off, even if they're fantastic.
So why would an insurance company ask you the value of your vehicle when you're taking out a policy if in reality they use a different metric to determine the price of or value of a vehicle?
Yeah, I suppose it's a way that they ascertain the cover that's required. So it's an indication, but it doesn't mean that that's what you'll be paying. I suppose that might be more of an insurance industry. I suppose they can't be getting independent assessments of everyone's vehicle. Everybody will have a value, but the reason I'm saying it is that a lot of people may feel a little bit disappointed with what they're offered for their vehicle, but it's just to bear that in mind. And if you have a perfectly functioning vehicle that's now been written off, it might be hard to get the logic behind it, but if it's going to cost more to repair than the worth, then that decision will be made.
Okay. And in that instance, what you're given you're given the monetary book value of it then? So are you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about if you're injured in a collision?
So if you're injured in a collision, there's an obligation on you to notify the responsible party and the insurance company within a period of 1 month, which is a very tight time period. If you're someone who has suffered an injury, and obviously that should be your main focus at the time, dealing with your any medical issues or any further investigation. So if you're injured in an accident, you must notify within a month, which means you must retain a solicitor, get legal advice, find out what your avenues of redress are.
And this is your own insurance company that you notify, or the other parties?
I always say if you're in an accident, you should notify both.
Yeah.
So you should always let your own insurance company know that there has been an incident, because in some circumstances, if it's a 50-50 collision, there could be cross claims. So you could be coming after me and I could be coming after you. So I think the safest position is always that you should inform your insurance company. If you're injured, the main notification obligation of 1 month is to notify the other side of your intention to bring a claim seeking compensation. And the reason for that tight time period is that evidence can be preserved if there is evidence to obtain.
Yeah. Often we will hear people who have had a bumper to bumper in a car park. They've exchanged insurance details and they think everything's fine. 3 months later or whatever, they get a note from their insurance company to say that they've paid out, €25,000 on the car, and the other person had whiplash, and then they, as the policyholder, end up paying for this for many years to come. Is there any comeback in relation to that?
Well, as far as I'm aware, and again, it's more of an insurance expert who might tell you about that, but as far as I'm aware, you should be notified that a claim has been brought. So an insurance company will want to know your side of the story. And that's why it's important, if you're in a collision and you're responsible, that you notify your insurance company and tell them your side of the story. And if you strongly feel that you're not responsible, and adopt a certain position, insurance companies are not going to want to pay out if they feel that evidence that you can give will show that you're not responsible, or that the incident isn't significant.
I fully respect your experience and expertise in this area, but I mean, we've heard from public accounts committees that insurance companies do not challenge claims. Over 90% of them aren't actually challenged at all. But I do understand that maybe they should, and it was stated at those meetings, but unfortunately they just seem to pay out willy-nilly. And that's why it's even more important that we follow your advice and protect ourselves as much as is possible. Right, so I think we've covered everything there. You talked about the claim issue. By law, you must issue a letter of claim within a month of the accident date, which, as you rightly pointed out, is really tight. But it's just important that people have this information in the back of their head, because it can be a stressful time. But you want to make sure that problems aren't exacerbated by you missing out on some of the, on taking some of the advice that we've given today.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. If you report a minor incident, is that admitting liability?
As in reporting it to an insurance company?
Yeah.
No, so reporting isn't admitting liability. Reporting is just informing of an incident. And that's why it's important that if you get, so I suppose the flip of issuing that letter within the 1 month is if you receive a letter like that within 1 month. So if you're driving involved in an incident and somebody sends you that letter, you should never reply to it yourself. You should always notify your insurance company. That's why we take out insurance, is to protect our interests. So you should notify your insurance company, tell them your side of things, and let them decide going forward, or in conjunction with you, obviously. Yeah. But from my experience, if an insurance company feel that there is a liability issue, they're not just going to pay out.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Caroline, thanks so much for your time this morning. I really appreciate it. That's Caroline McLaughlin, partner at Callan Tansey Solicitors, 086 60 25,000. WhatsApps and texts to that number.
Customise your Christmas cards or create a photo book using photos from your smartphone or Facebook at mcgees.ie or in store on Main Street, Letterkenny. Sponsors of the 9 till noon show.
Looking for the perfect gift this Christmas? Why not choose a McElhinney's gift card available in-store or online? Plus, to help spread the cost of Christmas, why not join our layaway club and give someone special a Christmas gift to remember this festive season from McElhinney's. Open this Sunday from 11 to 6 p.m.
Check out these special offers at Simpson's Supermarket, Letterkenny. Lions tea bags, 240 pack, €5. Tito crisps, 12 pack, €2.50. Cheerios, 700 gram, €2. Neil's flour, 3 kg, only €3. See the massive range of Christmas decorations in store, with new stock arriving daily. Plus, Simpsons are now taking orders for Christmas turkeys. While there, check out Peggy's Kitchen Cafe for great food, tea and coffee. Only 2 minutes from Letterkenny Hospital. Simpson's Supermarket. Great value every day.
Are you tired of waiting for treatment or surgery? Did you know you can receive immediate treatment across the border under the new NI planned healthcare scheme at potentially no cost? Donegal patients are still being treated with us at Kingsbridge Private Hospital Northwest post-Brexit. The process is easy and our dedicated team will help guide you through it. So why wait? Contact us today to find out how you can skip the waiting lists and receive treatment in Northern Ireland. Visit kingsbridgeprivatehospital.com, because life matters.
There's still time to give the gift of discovery this Christmas. So give the gift of an overnight escape, or a meal they're sure to remember, in that place they love, or the one they'd love to try. Support Irish businesses and buy a voucher for one of Ireland's amazing hotels or restaurants today. Brought to you by Fáilte Ireland.
Mike Denver in concert with guests Brendan Shine and Philomena Begley at the Mount Erical Hotel, Letterkenny on January 6th and Millennium Forum Derry on March 18th. Tickets now on sale at both venues and Ticketmaster.ie. That's Mike Denver with Philomena Begley and Brendan Shine in Letterkenny and Derry. The perfect Christmas gift.
In the LG price drop at Ben Sweeney Euronics, we have incredible value in all LG TVs. Like a 50-inch smart TV for only $399, a 65-inch for $599, and the massive 82-inch for $1,349. If you're looking for a TV that's a work of art, a big screen cinema, a portal to gaming worlds, or a front row seat to the biggest sporting events, you'll get amazing value right now at Ben Sweeney Euronics, Port Road, Letterkenny, and the shopping centre down low.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
OK, it's 11 o'clock. Let's get a news update so we can say good morning to Donald Kavanagh.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. A Donegal member of the Board of Udras Gaeltachta says investment in broadband and other vital infrastructure is paying dividends in the county. Councillor John Hamish O'Farry was speaking after it was confirmed at the weekend that Coratinia in Falcarra, trading as Celsius Limited, is to create 53 new posts with the help of Udras Investment. The firm makes wireless temperature control technology for the food and retail sector. Houses need to be built faster with better delivery. That's according to Micheál Martin. He's in his final week as Taoiseach. He says housing is the biggest issue facing society. Micheál Martin was speaking as Dara O'Brien, the Housing Minister, faces a motion of no confidence in the Dáil this week. The Taoiseach said new proposed changes to the planning laws will be very significant. Those proposed changes will see An Bord Pleanála renamed the Planning Commission. It'll mean fewer people would be allowed to take judicial reviews of planning decisions under the new changes and also give councils more power in the planning process. The proposed draft bill is set to be presented to Cabinet tomorrow. GAA clubs are being invited to apply for grants toward improving existing walking tracks located on their grounds. Donegal Councillor Jimmy Kavanagh says the initiative has been designed to maximise participation in physical activity within clubs and also to provide people in the local community the opportunity to use the facilities. Up to €50,000 is available in the first tranche of funding. An exhibition of the Peace Accolades awarded to the late John Hume has opened in Derry's Guildhall. The collection includes the 1998 Nobel Peace Prize awarded to Mr Hume and Sir David Trimble, also the Martin Luther King Jr. Nonviolent Prize won in 1999 and the Mahatma Gandhi Peace Prize, which was awarded to the former Foyle MP and SDLP leader in 2001. The collection was gifted to the people of Derry by the Hume family last year. And Donegal County Council has attended a weekend meeting of the National Emergency Coordination Group. Wintry conditions expected to last until Friday. The council urging people to continue to exercise caution on the roads, particularly those roads which are untreated. They say their graders will be out on every road included in a scruting programme at least 3 times a day for the week ahead. A yellow snow and ice warning remains in place in Donegal. And we're back with news headlines again at 12 noon.
OK, Donald, thank you very much indeed. Now, I am going to mention a couple of competitions for you right now, and I don't want to confuse things, but listen, the more the merrier, isn't it? The more that you can sort of win, the better. And we have a fantastic prize from our friends at McGee's Chemists in Letterkenny. We have a hamper on Friday to give away to you that's worth over €500. The overall prize contains a Lancome Christmas hamper, a blank canvas, tools to match your talent 20-piece brush set, a Be Perfect Iconic Essentials set, a bottle of Chanel Bleu de Chanel for men, a bottle of Victor and Raw Flower Bomb EDP spray, and a 20 by 16-inch gallery-wrapped canvas from McGee's so you can have your favourite photos wrapped in canvas and ready to hang. So that's Friday's prize. And we're going to get a winner every day to go into the draw on Friday. And every day we've got fantastic prizes for you as well. Today's is 50 millilitres of Chanel Coco Mademoiselle EDP spray. That's traditionally a lady's fragrance. Okay, so to be in with a chance of winning the competition, and I've lost the question. Oh, here it is. We want you, and it's just our regular text number 08660 25000. Whether you want to WhatsApp or text, it doesn't matter. And the question is, name the well-known actor who played 6 different roles in the Polar Express. What is his name? Text his name, your name, and where you're from to 086 60 25 000 or WhatsApp. And one of you today will win a 50 millilitre Chanel Coco Mademoiselle EDP spray. And if that is not good enough, you're then in the draw for that amazing prize worth over €500 to be won on Friday. So isn't that nice? Okay. And it's just free to enter. Just text in your answer to 086 60 25 000. Now, if that were not enough, we also have another comp running today, and this one is for fun. The prize is an amazing prize as well, though. We have on Friday a €100 voucher for the Inishowen Gateway Hotel in Buncrana. Inishowen Gateway, beautiful hotel, of course, and this is a €100 voucher that you can use there. And we're playing the Say What quiz that a lot of people seemed to enjoy last week. I'm going to play a clip from a bit of Highland Radio programming. And you just have to tell us the word that's missing. Today we are using Canis from his Saturday morning show. Listen to this. Tell us the word that is missing.
A couple of facts of the day. The average person between 80 and 90 times a day.
So the average person does what? 80 or 90 times a day?
A couple of facts of the day. The average person between 80 and 90 times a day.
All right, what do we do on average according to Canis' survey? 80 to 90 times a day. To be in with a chance to win the €100 voucher for the Inishowen Gateway Hotel in Buncrana. Text in your answer, and again we're going to use the same number. Hopefully it's not confusing to you. It's just giving you more and more chances to win. 086 60 25 000 WhatsApp or text the missing word plus your name and where you're from. All right, now, and we'll if you come on and take a guess, hopefully we'll have a wee prize for you as well. And lastly, I just want another opportunity for you maybe to save a few euro at Christmas. Hop onto our website. We have the 12 deals of Christmas in partnership with a number of fantastic businesses here across the Northwest. Today we're giving you all 10% off gift vouchers here at Highland Radio up until the 23rd of December. So if you want to buy a gift voucher that can be put against quizzes or competitions here at Highland Radio, we're giving you 10% off your gift voucher here at Highland Radio up until the 23rd of December. So if you're stuck for that last minute Christmas gift present, why not give them a voucher they can use to purchase any of our draw tickets or even bingo books? Simply call us on 07491 25,000 or call us into us here at the station. So 10% off our gift vouchers here at Highland Radio up until the 23rd of December. I don't know if someone clever out there might be able to get cheaper car draw tickets if you use your brains there on that one. All right, we'll be back with more on the 9 till noon show, including Brendan Devaney previewing his our podcast, The DL Debate. That's coming up after a break.
Customise your Christmas cards or create a photo book using photos from your smartphone or Facebook at mcgee's.ie or in store on Main Street, Letterkenny. Sponsors of the 9 till noon show.
Hello, Dream Inspector. 50 grand. Got it. Wait, 10 winners of 50 grand each every Tuesday and Friday? So every Euro Millions draw till Christmas is guaranteed 10 Irish winners of 50 grand each?
10 Ireland-only raffle winners of €50,000 guaranteed in every Euro Millions draw till Christmas. The National Lottery. It could be you. Play responsibly. Play for fun. All Euro Millions Ireland-only raffle draws until December 23rd.
It's time for the ultimate New Year's celebrations. It's time to count down to New Year's Festival Dublin. Get ready for a brand new festival village, street entertainers and an electrifying performance from Westlife. With special guests Gavin, James and Lyra. Experience a midnight moment like nothing you've ever seen at our family matinee or the Countdown concert. Plus fun for all on New Year's Day. New Year's Festival Dublin, the only place to be. Book your tickets now at nyfdublin.com. Brought to you by Fáilte Ireland.
At Bus Éireann, we know everyone's journey to Christmas is different. And with so many magical stops along the way, we can't wait to get you there. From dropping off Grandad and his perfectly wrapped presents, to picking up excited panto heroes and villains. Oh no, you don't. Oh yes, we do. With room on board for everyone, make your journey to Christmas extra special this year with Bus Éireann. Let's get you to Christmas. Proudly part of the Transport for Ireland network.
Hello,
Hello, Hill 16 Insurance. How can I help you? Up the dubs.
Hi. I am looking for a home insurance quote.
Righto, and what part of Dublin do you live in?
I don't actually live in Dublin.
Right. Do you at least support the dubs?
What? I'm just looking for home insurance.
Well, you're gonna have to keep looking, pal, because Hill 16 is Dublin only.
Get the feeling that your insurer doesn't want you? At Local Insurance, we understand your needs. Call today for a bespoke quote or find us online at localinsurance.ie. Local Insurance, we'll get you sorted. The Local Insurance Network, DAC Trading's Local Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Local Insurance is a tied insurance intermediary of Acorn Brokerage Limited. Acorn Brokerage Limited, trading as Acorn Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
And now the Highland weather, brought to you by Shop LK. An accumulation of Christmas shoppers will descend on Letterkenny this December. See shoplk.ie or like us on Facebook.
Okay, let's take a look at the weather forecast. Bright and bitterly cold this morning with a severe frost, icing conditions and freezing fog, which may linger throughout much of the day. There'll also be isolated wintry showers with accumulations of snow possible. Afternoon temps no higher than 2 degrees, but as low as -2 in the afternoon. Right, okay. Brendan Devaney is in studio with us now, and the DL debate. Is it the last one of the year?
Last one of the year, Greg. And I'm having to give him a specs
Oh
on.
my. You look like
we've got.
You look like Jeffrey Dahmer in them things. Brendan, seriously.
Look a bit dangerous, do you?
Go back.
Weird. You see them? Nobody's seen these yet. Oh, you've a camera.
Let me have a look at them. Come here. Get them over here.
Hey, they're only a couple of quid. The woman
they're
told me
nice,
I'm just on the border of glasses.
Oh, they're
you know?
just reading glasses.
Yeah.
That's no harm in that. Actually, they're quite nice. I like them.
Yeah,
quite
do you?
fashionable. Yeah, all right. Okay, so I want you to put them on for the crack now, but you won't.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so come here. It's the last DL debate of 2022, and what a year you've put in covering GEA. The ups and downs and the ins and outs and everything we love and hate about sport.
Yeah, I was even thinking, Greg, on the last show, I'm looking back with Brendan Kilcoyne on the year, you know, and I was just thinking the amount of stuff's happening now. Like the chairperson's up for grabs in Donegal. We've still got under 21 championships. We're the final stages now for Master and Minors. Are still going through Ulster there, a competition I played in as a minor myself with St Junans and that, and you know, Waddy Graham's at the weekend there winning Ulster. There seems to be so much still happening, and of course the season's going to come with a massive bang next year because we're going to sandwich this new championship that's coming for Donegal in with Ulster, the league, and McKenna Cup and that. So time, Greg, is going to be a crazy season coming up next year. And I was even thinking about changing a few things in the show just to try and change the format.
It's always
to freshen things up in there as well.
So where, say for instance, just a couple of headlines in terms of, you know, the county setup. I mean, it's been a year and a half, hasn't it? Yeah. And we're heading into the unknown to some extent. You know, some people will, you know, doubters will have to be disproved. We don't really know. We're down Michael Murphy. We don't know what else might happen. So heading into 2023, I suppose there's a lot of possibilities. You know, it depends if you want to look at the glass half full or half empty. But who's to say?
Yeah, I suppose for years, Eric, since the glory years of Jim now, Donegal have got used to winning Ulsters and being at the very top of it. And I think previous to that, you know, there was like getting into an Ulster final was decent and maybe staying in Division 1, which happened Donegal this year. But it's certainly not how it ended up. I think the performance in the Ulster final and the way we lost the game, the hammering in by Armagh probably scared a lot of Donegal fans. And for years, I think after that, you know, Rory Geller stepped in after Jim. Then Boner was ready to go as well. And, you know, they were all people that were ready-made and fitted the job perfectly. This time now, there's been this huge gap. What was it, Greg? It must have been pushing 4 months. Yep. By the time we actually... So it looked like in the background, Donegal were maybe chasing a couple of people that maybe would have had... Maybe from that 2012 time, if you think about Cavan and Lacey, that were possibly coming in. So everyone was looking for this good news story. And then it didn't seem like it was happening. Then Karen O'Rourke came in. Now Paddy Bradley has joined them as well. So I think for a lot of Donegal people, they're just wondering... Yeah. The people at Donegal, maybe County Board were after, maybe didn't want it at this time, and I suppose that big void then left this, I suppose, all these rumours and stuff going on. And as you said, the rumours have persisted, Greg, with as people not joining the ranks and as there low numbers at training, Murphy going. So if you're on about half glass, half empty, half
but
full,
also
you know,
too, we can't really look at we can't look at Donegal in isolation. If you're looking at what can or can't be achieved for Donegal next year, you have to look at, well, what's happening with other counties within Ulster in the first instance. You know, Donegal doesn't exist in itself. It exists within that competition. People will be excited to see what Derry have to offer, what Tyrone have to offer, what Armagh and the rest have to offer as well.
Yeah, well, listen, it's certainly going to be fascinating. We play Kerry, All-Ireland champions, in the 29th of January. That's when the league starts, when the real action starts. And I suppose from Paddy Carr and O'Rourke and Paddy Bradley's perspective, you know, the league, it's so different from the championship in terms of what's going to happen in the championships, where the real Donegal will be. So in many ways in the league, they'll get time to kind of put their stamp on it and put this new team out, which they're going to have to come up with, because, you know, particularly with Michael leaving and with, I suppose, the last of them great 2012 players, I mean, taking McBurdy out of it, you're going to have to form a new team. So, you know, Kerry, Tyrone, you know, you've Tyrone and Monaghan, 2 away games after that. Then you've Galway at Letterkenny here, Armagh away, Mayo at home, and finishing with Roscommon away. So it's going to be a tough league. It's going to be a fascinating league. It goes into Ulster, and there's a new championship format this year as well. So as I say, they're basically almost going to be playing every week. So it's a huge season for them as well in terms of their application to it, because it's going to be like full on, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And the tests come quickly. Very quickly, and people will be watching. Also, too, that's looking forward, and you have Brendan Kilcoyne in studio, looking to reflecting on, I suppose, the club setup, and again, it's interlinked with what's happening at county level. I didn't see it, but apparently Kilcoo versus Glen was an excellent match.
Yeah, it was. I suppose massive history for the Glen men. You know, they back-to-back Derry titles. Kilcoo going for 3 in a row. You know, All-Ireland champions, and it looked like in those tight, tough games that, you know, Kilcoo would always find a way, but it wasn't to be yesterday, and Glen deserving winners. And of course, going back to Donegal tie and Malachy O'Rourke, their manager, was someone that was definitely Donegal would have approached. But listen, he had a job to do there, and certainly that's turned right for them. And massive day for them. Ryan Porter's their trainer. He was previously a trainer here at Donegal a number of years ago. So, you know, the county setup of them clubs, though, Greg, you know, you look at it, them 2 guys are in charge. Mickey Moran stepped down, but they still have Conley Gilligan and Richie Thornton, another guy who had trained at Donegal. Really, either of them sets of guys could be in charge of any county in Ulster. So if I actually see 2 club teams, it takes a lot of backing, and it takes a bit of dosh as well, Greg. So that's the level that some of these clubs are at. Yeah. You know, Kilcoo are, as I say, you'd fancy them to beat the Down County team if they played them.
Well, that's quite a statement, Brendan. All right, that'd be an interesting challenge.
No, hey, I don't want to put the Down boys down, because we're playing them in the Ulster Championship first round, so I better be careful.
Oh no, let's come here. So it's going to be a great show again, and then you've got Michael McMullen on talking about that game, and also Brendan Kilcoyne, as to say, and also looking forward to 2023. Who's to say what that year might throw up on the sports fields?
Yeah, certainly. Listen, I think we have to give massive time to this Donegal management team, to give them room. You know, the problem is, in that cutthroat business of Division 1, there isn't a lot of time. You have 4 away games as well, which always hampers you. You know, you prefer to have it the other way around. So it's going to be difficult. I think staying in Division 1 is vital first. We go on to Ulster, then we play down, and we be the winners then of Antrim, Cavan or Armagh, because there's a preliminary game. So if we beat down, we're on a collision course with Armagh boys again, you know.
You know, talking about training and preparation and tactics and all that type of stuff, I would say a big challenge that might be faced is actually getting players up for these games. You know what I mean? To inspire them, to say, right, this is it, this is a fresh start. Do you know, I mean, that's an important part of management, and whomever you have with the captain's armband.
Yeah,
as well,
that's a great point, Greg. And the leaders in the room, you don't forget Neil McGee's walked away as well, or retired, sorry, and you know, he was a massive leader, even though he mightn't be playing as much the last couple of years. Still, you know, huge presence, and those guys, I say, from that 2012 team, there were so many of them there now. So, as you said, it's up to whoever takes that armband now, and some of the newer players coming through.
It's not just all on management.
Yes.
Here is it, you know, there's and the fans know that too, but the management are obviously an easy target. All right, fair play. Your podcast all year supported again by the crew at Sister Sarah's.
Yeah, big thank you to Kieran Brogan and all that Sister Sarah's crew. Yeah,
has he committed to 2023 yet?
Yeah, we'll have to negotiate. I sit down. Things are getting hard.
So you
maybe he'll be giving me the hard luck story. I'll be giving it back to him.
So you just brought the glasses in to look cool, then they didn't make an appearance.
Yeah. Listen, I want to do the Conor McGregor on it.
All right, Jeffrey. Right. Brendan Devaney.
I was thinking McGregor.
I know that, but he shaved his beard now, so you'll have to do yours. That's Brendan Devaney. He's in the process of getting the Deal Debate available for you. You can listen on air after 7 and the podcast available shortly thereafter.
The 9 till noon show with McGee's chemist Letterkenny and online at mcgees.ie. Order your prints, poster or canvas online and have them delivered direct to your door or collect in store.
While everyone's obsessing about the Christmas season, you've got a different season on your mind. One where red noses come from shouting your support in the crisp, cold, pitchside air. Where the roaring fire is in your belly, not your sitting room. And the perfect gift is an unexpected win. Don't miss a moment with a GAA season ticket. A gift for yourself or the fan in your life. Available at gaa.ie/season ticket. Are you in? The GAA, where we all belong.
Shrink your Christmas bill at Dunnes Stores with 20% off a great range of wine and champagne. Or offer your guests the best with selected boxes of chocolates like Lily O'Brien's and Nestle Black Magic, now half price. Selected half-price toiletry gift sets from the likes of Old Spice and Dove will make perfect presents. Plus, with our 10 off 50 grocery voucher, you save even more. Dunnes Stores, make Christmas for everyone. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next grocery shop of €50 or more. Voucher excludes alcohol. Please drink sensibly.
Save hundreds of euros on custom charges when doing your Christmas shopping online with Space Hub Dairy. We provide a full virtual address mailbox service for all your Christmas parcels and post. Save hundreds, possibly thousands, on custom charges this Christmas with Space Hub Dairy. Call 048 7187 8077 for more details.
Hello, Farmer Tinny here. Tinny's Toys are now open 7 days a week. New stock arriving weekly. Our Christmas Club is now open. Check out our entire range online at tinnystoys.com, where we offer free shipping on orders over €75. Buy now, pay later with Klarna. No extra charges. Tinny's Toys, Ireland's largest farm toy superstore. Down by.
Highland Radio has a Christmas cracker of a competition. How would you like to win €400 worth of home heating oil from O'DonnellFuels.ie, Crawley and Letterkenny? A fantastic gold meat hamper from Joe McGee Butchers. A huge Christmas goodies hamper from Kelly Centra. And a €200 Shop LK card courtesy of Letterkenny Chamber of Commerce. To enter, just answer the following. What word is missing from this iconic Christmas song? I'm dreaming of a Christmas. Text Highland followed by your name and answer to 57080. The winner will be announced on the Jive Time show on Friday 16th of December. Highland Radio, helping make Christmas extra special.
Air Canada Flight 706 to Dublin is now boarding. Thank you, ma'am. Enjoy your flight.
Landing your dream job in Toronto. Losing your J1 heart in New York City. Finding yourself in a Bangkok hostel. Yet it's touching down in Dublin that still gives you goosebumps. Hiya, Dad.
Hello, love. Come on, your mum's got the kettle really boiled away. Barry's Tea. We make the tea, you make the moment.
All right, you're welcome back. So, I mean, we have quite a bit of music coming up for you as well between now and Christmas. I think we're going to be more of that to come anyway. So if you're missing a bit of Christmas music on this show, we are going to sort you out. Hi, is it true that if two cars had a smash and no damage is done, can another driver claim without you knowing? I don't know. How would that happen? I'm not sure. It's a specific question. We'll try and get a specific answer for you. The reason insurance companies ask your vehicle value is because your premium is based on your valuation, but in the event of an accident, they pay their assessed value. That's exactly my question. Why go through that nonsense? You know, you might get a 25 grand loan out for a car if you were very, very lucky, and then they could say to you that your car's worth 12 grand. Insurance companies quick to pay out unchallenged, often without your knowledge, is to blame for fraud and insurance costs. That's the point I was trying to make. Thank you. In my opinion, we all saw the interactions at the Public Accounts Committee between Pierce Doherty and insurance chiefs. Has anything changed? I wonder. There are some inroads being made. Right, okay. This was the question. The lines are now closed on this. We simply wanted to know Canis's missing word.
A couple of facts of the day. The average person between 80 and 90 times a day.
All right, we go to Daphne in Dunfanaghy. Daphne, how are you this morning?
Good morning, I'm fine. Thank you.
What's the weather like in Dunfanaghy today, Daphne?
Oh, it's frosty, yeah.
Right, okay, nice honest frost. All right, now what do you believe the missing word is, Daphne?
I thought it'd make me smile.
Oh, I wish it was. It's not smile. It's a good answer, but it's not correct, Daphne. It should be the right answer. There's some of the people around here, you wouldn't see them smile twice a day, let alone 80 times a day, Daphne. They're a miserable shower. But come here. We're going to send you out a mug. Is that all right? It's a 9 till noon show mug, especially for you. Limited edition. So thank you so much, Daphne, for taking part.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care of yourself. Right, okay, let's go to Anne Duffy in beautiful Carrigart. Anne, did you step out to watch the tractors drive past you over the weekend?
Well, indeed I did, Greg. I went to Carrigart to see them.
Very good.
And it was absolutely
magical.
Just a sight to behold, really. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, all the tractors with their lights on and all that type of stuff, and for a great cause as well. All right, a great wee lift. And actually, Carrigart, even with the Christmas decorations, looking lovely, isn't it? Right, Anne, what is the answer?
Believe it or not, I think it's swear.
Oh my! How many times a day would you swear, Anne?
Well, I would hope I don't swear at all, but maybe somebody else might be different.
So someone would have to do it 160 times a day with you not swearing, and then we get the average of 80. Well, let's check with Canis to see what the answer is.
A couple of facts of the day. The average person swears between 80 and 90
well
times
done.
a day.
You're right, okay. So come here. You are in the draw for €100 for the Inishowen Gateway Hotel in Buncrana, but also we're going to put your name, we'll contact you, we're going to put your name on a ticket for the car prize draw. So you're in with a chance to win the lovely voucher for the Inishowen Gateway Hotel, but you're also now in the draw for a €30,000 Nissan Juke. So that's all I can do for you.
That's great, Greg. Thank you very much.
Lovely to chat to you.
Thank
Take
you.
care, Anne. Bye-bye. That's Anne Duffy there in Carrigart. I want to mention, by the way, the car draw, because it's got bigger and better. If you weren't listening on Friday, we have the brand new Nissan Juke worth €30,000 to be given away on the 23rd of December. But also on the 23rd of December, €3,000 in cash is being given away on the breakfast show, the Naughty Alarm Clock on Around the Northwest with John, and of course then Jive Time. I'm giving away the car on that day. If you want to get your ticket, by the way, to be in all 4 draws, hop on the website highlandradio.com and click win a car, and you can buy 1 ticket for £10, 6 for £50, or 10 for £80 if you want to give them as gifts, or you can give us a call here at 07491 25,000 and we will hook you up. Right, still to come on the programme, we've got loads of important information for you, but also it's all about giving away. We've got our winner of the McGee's Chemist competition. It's a brilliant one. Again, over €500 of a voucher to be won. Not a voucher, sorry, of a prize, including a hamper and amazing stuff. But also today, one of you is going to win a... I've lost the piece of paper here. What is it today? It is a 50 milliliter Chanel Coco Mademoiselle EDP spray. All right, all that to pack in the next 34 minutes. Stay right where you are.
Have a photo book printed for Christmas using your own selected images, titles and text at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny. Proud sponsors of the 9 till noon show.
Did you see Fran's letter to Santa?
No. Dear Santa, I want a dolphin. Real one, please. And a donut as big as a car.
Dunnes Stores can make Christmas for almost everyone. Whether you dream of amazing food, a beautiful tree, or the presents underneath it, we've got you covered. Except for dolphins and car-sized donuts. We'll leave that to Santa. Make Christmas for everyone at Dunnes Stores.
Tune in this Tuesday to the Community Garda information slot, on air after 10 a.m. on the 9 till noon show in association with Sheridan Security Systems. Call today and get your zero-wire alarm system from €299. Sheridan Security, 91-26025.
Hi, I'm Angela. Are you on a date that isn't working out? Is your online date not who they said they were? Does it all feel a bit weird? Do you feel like you're not in a safe situation?
If you answer yes to any of these questions the next time you are out socialising, go to the bar and ask for Angela. The bar staff will know you need some help getting out of your situation, and they will help you out discreetly, without too much fuss. Wherever you see the Ask for Angela signs or posters, know that the establishment supports the Ask for Angela campaign.
Work's annual Chris Kindle just 2 days away. Wait, no, it's today. And you got Kira nothing. You could gift her the stapler. Nah, that won't work. Chocolate? Nah. Why not really make their day with an all-cash scratch card from the National Lottery? With millions in cash prizes to be won instantly, you'll be onto a winner with an all-cash scratch card as a Chris Kindle present. The National Lottery. It could be them. Gift responsibly.
Callahan's Gala and Go Burt, your one-stop family shop. Drive in to our newly renovated spacious forecourt. Fill up with our upgraded modern fuel pumps and save with our keen Go Fuel prices. Located on the main Letterkenny to Derry Road, we're the ideal pit stop on your Donegal journey. Fast flow fuel, self-service or attended with a smile.
Sure, it's all go at Callahan's.
For all your home heating needs, oil, gas and solid fuels. National Fuels, Pierce Road, Letterkenny. 9137 400. National Fuels, bringing you the time at
11:29, we now say good morning to Janice. And we're back talking about the roads and the care of the roads during these winter times. Janice, good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, okay, so what area are you in and what problems are you facing?
Well, I live in Derry-le-Connell, Doory,
Mhm.
and I live at the top of the Bray, and our road from Doory up to Letcher has not been gritted in, well, it's not been gritted this year, but in previous years there used to be grit left at the top of the Bray, well, up until a couple of years ago, and it no longer happens. And the last 3 or 4 days we have been stranded up here, basically, because we can't get our vehicle up to the house. We've had to abandon it down the lane because it just won't go up. My husband couldn't even walk across from our house to his byre where he gets the food to feed the animals. The other day he had to literally crawl across the road.
Wow, that's how bad it is. So if you can't walk across it, no chance of getting the car. Do we know why grit stopped being left at the top of the Bray, Janice?
No. It used to happen some years ago, and it just doesn't happen anymore. Not much. Saturday night, our van literally got to where the Bray started, and then it was just turning round. Our car we had to abandon on somebody's grass, and he had to park the van on somebody else's drive. It just wouldn't come up to the house, and there are people that's just not even attempted to go out because it's so dangerous.
And
Even the post lady on Saturday didn't come up to our road because she wasn't able to get up.
And did I read correctly that someone got stuck on this road and stayed in their car overnight?
That was on that was on the R254, which is like a continuation of our road out of the village. So if you came down our road towards Doory and then we're heading out towards Glenveigh, on that road there, somebody was stuck in their car overnight.
My word, okay. Now, you're not saying the gritter should come up past your house, but grit should be left at the top of the Bray for locals to be able to distribute.
Well, I'd like them to grit up past our house. It would be much better for them to come out and grit. This road was a very, very busy road when the roadworks from Dunlow to Glenties were being done. There were wagons up and down all the time, and I'm sure if that was still going on, they would be gritting this road. But at the moment, when it's, it is quite a busy road because it's a main thoroughfare from Letcher and beyond to go to Letterkenny. They all come through here through Doory and to Fintown. So it's a very busy road, and it's just not gritted. And this is a very, very dangerous spot, which is outside our house. And unfortunately, we have no choice but to park our vehicles on the road because we have a roadside cottage.
Right, and with weather temperatures set to stay low until Friday, there's not going to be a thaw between now and Friday, so that's 2 weeks virtually of no access to your property with a car and difficulties in feeding animals as well.
Yeah, well, yes, because we're if we can manage to get out at all, it's for about an hour or so during the day when there's a bit of a thaw, and that's mainly because my husband has been out there and salted the bit outside our house so that he can get across to feed his animals.
Understood. Right, okay. Janice, hopefully someone's heard what you've had to say there, and it shouldn't be beyond the council or whomever is responsible to leave some grit at the top of that lane. Thanks, Janice, for that. I appreciate your time. John Francis is going to talk to us now about the Kincastle Dunlow Road. Hi, John Francis. What state's this road in at?
Hi, Greg. How's it going?
Thanks.
This road's in terrible shape. It's probably one of the busiest. It's not the main road from Kincastle to Dunlow. That goes round to Burton Port, but it saves people maybe 5 kilometres in the journey to go this road. So it's one of the busiest roads that's not a main road, probably in the whole of West Donegal.
And it's also got a lot of school. It's got a lot of school traffic, John Francis, hasn't
it? It has at least one coach that goes to Ross's Community School, and it has 3 or 4 smaller buses that serve different schools as well. Our own kids go on a bus that comes down. There's about 10 or 12 other kids on the road that goes to Acres School in Burton Port. And this morning now, the bus now was going everywhere. It was all over the road, and it's not fair on the bus drivers that are expected to do it. Now I know the school sent out a text last night saying that they wouldn't do a roll call till 11 a.m. But like there's a lot of families there that are relying on the bus service at that time because they're going to work.
Of course.
And this road is a massive problem. At the best of times, it's dangerous. The amount of traffic that's using it it's not safe. There's numerous accidents. I know some of the councillors, Michael Collum especially, has been on to the county council non-stop to try and get something done with it, and they don't budge. There was an accident there in the summer at a bridge just down past our house where a car crashed and it damaged most of the bridge, and it hasn't been fixed. The council put up just cones, and like there's a drop there off the bridge. There's no wall or nothing. You could just easily fall in.
Yeah, I've talked about that before, I think. Another thing too, and I'm not confusing subjects here, John Francis, but this, do you know when we talk about ticket allocations at the start of the year, this road is officially the school bus route. That's how because if they went around the way, all of a sudden you'd be further from the school than you actually are. So with that in mind as well, it seems like it would be important that this road is gritted.
100%. And the actual crazy thing is about it all, the actual council yard where the gritter leaves is actually on this road. So the gritter comes out of the yard, turns left and goes into Dunlow. If it turned right, it has literally just over 5 kilometres down to the Cage Crossroads where it meets the main road again. And I mean, like, at different times, I know your previous caller was saying that there's no grit left out. You know, the council do come along and their tippers and leave grit out at different times. It actually takes longer to drive down and throw grit off with a shovel than it does to drive the gritting lorry up and down 5 kilometres of road. It makes no sense when a road, but you know, I'm not surprised. I've spoken to road engineers in the past about this road and asked them, do they know how busy the road is? And they said to me no. And I said, you know, why don't you put a traffic counter on it or something? They have no interest in doing it.
Okay. Well, listen, John Francis, you've made your point clear today. I just think I understand that decisions have to be made, but common sense also needs to prevail as well, especially considering the store yard for the grit and salt is on that road. It's a peculiar situation. All right, John Francis, thanks for that. I appreciate it greatly.
Thanks, Greg.
Take care of yourself. All right, and maybe later on we'll also ask, and I'll do so very shortly, how are these decisions made? Is it the noisiest wheel that gets the oil? Like if councillors campaign, does one area get added? Does another area miss out as a result? I don't know, but we're going to be speaking generally about the council's reaction to treating our roads. And you know what? Maybe I don't do this often enough. For the most part, lots of us were able to get about today safely because the roads and the grit and crews were out making the roads as safe as possible. They're out 2 or 3 times a day. They're the first one up these roads as well when they're very, very dangerous. So we appreciate that, and it's not to take away from that. What we're talking about here and what we have to highlight is some areas where it would make an awful lot of sense if they can't be included on the gritter route for some grit to be left out so locals can do a job themselves. So the majority of what's going on is excellent and fair play to the workers. As I say, they're out. They're the first. There's no one gritting in front of them, so we appreciate what they're doing. But of course, we do also have to address people's concerns where they see some gaps in what we're doing. But again, just to recognise, a lot of good work goes on. A lot of people are at school, and a lot of people are at work today or at hospital appointments because people were out gritting the roads overnight. So it is appreciated.
Chanel, Flowerbomb, Lancôme, Giorgio Armani, Paco Rabanne, Hugo Boss. Where else but at McGee's Chemist this Christmas? Sponsors of the 9 till noon show.
Highland Radio is seeking applications for a presenter-producer to join our busy sports team. The ideal candidate must have an interest in sport across the Northwest, and a strong knowledge of multimedia platforms is essential. The chosen applicant will be trained to present our main sports programmes and bulletins, plus produce both on-air and online content. For more details, see the job section on our website highlandradio.com.
It's the final week for Aldi's amazing Secret 6 buy one get one free Christmas offers. This Thursday's 2 for 1 is a Cadbury Favourites large selection box, just $8.99. With all that choice, you won't know what to eat first. You pay for one selection box and get 2. Means you'll have no trouble selecting Aldi this week. Aldi. Make Christmas amazing for everyone. Hurry while stocks last. Terms apply. See aldi.ie for details.
At Hickey, Clark and Langan Insurance Brokers, they compare quotes from all the leading insurers, so you get a great price. Home, motor and van, farm, holiday home, travel and liability insurance, they quote them all. So if the worst happens, you're covered. For a competitive insurance quote today, call Hickey, Clark and Langan on 9126688 or pop into their office at Ballymacool, Letterkenny. Hickey, Clark and Langan General Insurances Limited, trading as Hickey, Clark and Langan, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Skull Columkill Letterkenny now enrolling boys and girls for September 2023. Come visit our new school on Tuesday the 13th of December at 10 a.m. or Wednesday the 14th at 1 p.m. Enroll in school or on our website at skullcolumkilllk.ie. Open until the 28th of February. Skull Columkill. Growing and learning together.
Louis Walsh Opticians, the longest established opticians in Letterkenny, welcome new and existing customers alike, offering the latest brands with glasses to suit all budgets and styles, private, medical card and PRSI patients. For your next eye test, contact Louis Walsh Opticians at Mount Southwell Place, Letterkenny, on 91
Join our Christmas club today in store at Evolve Clothing Letterkenny Retail Park. Don't forget our Evolve gift card. It fits everyone. Evolve.
At Spar Glencar, we're all set for Christmas. From selection boxes to tubs of sweets and hampers for all ages, gift sets for the family and much, much more. It's all under one roof at Spar Glencar. We accept Shop LK gift cards across the complex.
All right, just some news from the hospital. The emergency department is under significant pressure today, we're told, with high attendances and long waiting times. INMO figures today indicate 64 admitted patients are awaiting a bed at the hospital. 30 of them are on trolleys in the ED. Management at the hospital say there is significant pressure on bed availability with lengthy delays in the ED. And the hospital says all available beds are in use, and as a result, elective procedures are being cancelled. Okay, so that's not fantastic news if you were on that list. Right, okay. Brian Cannon is Director of Services for Roads and Transportation with Donegal County Council. Brian, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
Good to have you on the show. And as I said just before the break, Brian, before welcoming you on, I think it's important we recognise the teams out doing the work that they do. You know, be it in terms of making the roads as safe as is possible, the designated routes, or other reactionary stuff that needs to be done. I mean, there are challenges, aren't there, at this time of year that the council has to deal with?
Absolutely, Greg. We've got quite an extensive gritting route in the county. We've 1,140 kilometres of road being gritted, and they've been gritted multiple times a day since the 3rd of November. This has been, whilst the weather has got particularly severe in the last number of days, it still has been quite wintry for a period now. And over the last number of days, since the middle of last week, we've actually been gritting the routes on that 3 times a day. just in order to try and keep the main routes open.
Now, of course, every route can't be gritted, but we heard from John Francis there talking of the Kincastle to Dunlow Road. Now, I don't expect you to have intimate knowledge of all the roads, Brian, for a second, but there's 4 or 5 school buses on that route. A lot of people use it. I think the actual area where grit's stored is on that route, but it is not gritted. Right, so how is the decisions made in terms of what roads are gritted and which are not? And that might answer a lot of questions from different areas of the county.
Okay. Periodically, Greg, there is a review of what winter gritting routes are done. The last review was held in 2021, and 125 kilometres of new route was added at that period. And we work on behalf of the public. We listen to representations that come in through our area offices. We listen to our elected members. And then through the various structures of the council, through the Roads and Transportation SPC, in the workshops with our members, etc., we examine the asks. And then we look at the other side of it, which is what resources are available. When it comes to treating routes or priority routes, we aim to have our routes treated between 6 a.m. in the morning and 8 a.m. in the morning to try and get the peak travel, and then a particular 2-hour window in the evening. So we have to try and work out what routes, how many lorries are needed for the various routes. To say there's 21 different routes at present, and just to ensure that that route can be treated within that 2-hour window. So look, that's the way it happens.
How much weight is given to representations from councillors? So you could have a councillor in a particular area that's very noisy, and I don't mean that with any disrespect to them, versus one that maybe works in a different kind of a way. So presumably the decisions aren't made solely based on elected representatives' representations, are they?
No, there's checks and balances in place. We consider every ask, and we work with our elected members. It's not a them and us scenario. We discuss and debate, talk out the challenges that there are, look at the options that are there. And as I said, 125 kilometres was added in 2021, and that can't cover every route in the county. As we know, there's 6,600 kilometres of public road in the county, and we try and endeavour to cover the higher volume roads in order that the people are able to get about their business. And I
think in fairness to our listeners, a lot of them understand that. But there are areas that they said, look, can you leave some stuff on the side of the road and we can do it ourselves, or stuff used to be left there before and no longer is. You do see piles of this stuff as you travel around the county. So if people are listening and, a couple of the locals want access to this stuff so they can make their properties accessible, how do they go about making that representation to the council, and how likely are you to say, right, okay, we can do that?
Yeah, as a matter of practice, Greg, you're right. We do leave piles of grit on the non-gritted routes, and people are generally familiar with where those piles are. Our staff have been replenishing those over the last number of weeks and will continue to do so right up to Christmas. If there's a particular location that either hasn't been replenished or a new suggestion, I would advise the public to contact our call centre on 9153900 and leave a message for the local area office, and that can be considered, absolutely.
All right, and I mean, if there's a good argument made, it is something that you would probably do.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I would reiterate that it will be for the locals in those areas then to utilise that grit for those particular locations. I was actually talking to a number of colleagues this morning that were out doing it over the weekend for their own personal use on their own roads leading up to their own, in their own areas, etc. So it will involve an element of community, a community effort in order that grit is put to use.
Why are footpaths not on the gritting programme, or are they?
Footpaths generally aren't on the gritting programme. Along the gritted routes, there generally would be an overspill that would...
Some cast off. But, I mean, like, say around Letterkenny, for example, around the hospital, into work. I mean, high traffic areas. I mean, obviously you can't do every town and village, but is there a particular reason then why? Is it resources? Is it strategy? Is it legal reasons? I don't know. Why is there not a footpath gritting programme?
Yeah, there isn't a footpath gritting programme. It generally tends to be reactive. We all recall the bad winters of 2010 and 2011. And obviously when we're on full winter maintenance duty, the local area teams know their areas and react as and when appropriate. But there isn't a planned footpath gritting programme. Resources aren't there for that. There's, as you well know, there's a lot of demand on the roads funding that comes into the county, we do get these bouts relatively infrequently. Perhaps with climate change going forward, they might even become less frequent. But our area teams will react when situations get to a point where they need to be addressed.
All right, a few people messaging about the Burnham McGlinchey Park. They're saying it's unusable because the paths are it's like a skating rink. Now, this is one of the main parks in Letterkenny. The only relief for a lot of people maybe to exercise safely. Why are the footpaths in a park like that not serviced?
Okay, well, there's not a gritting programme for them, but they are reactive, and our teams are in the Bernard McGlinchey Park this morning. The car park has been gritted, and they have been out gritting the paths in the Bernard McGlinchey Park, so that, as you say, people can use it. So it's not the case that it is not the case that it's a planned programme, but the staff do react.
Understood.
When the issue needs, yeah.
All right. Now, I don't want to get into specific roads because we could be here all day, and I'm not sure it's fair on you. But a few people talked about the old Blue Banks Road in Kilmacrennan. It used to be gritted. It isn't anymore.
Yeah. Look, and there's loads of examples, Greg, and
Dukery's another one.
Yeah, and what I would say is that there's extensive information on the council website in relation to what roads are gritted. And from speaking to Caroline earlier, we can share the links both to that and to a dashboard that the council has produced that also includes the gritting routes, includes cameras from around the various weather stations around the county, so people can look and plan. What we would say is also it's the need to plan ahead for your journey. Is very important. And if it's a case that you can avail of a gritted route as opposed to taking a shortcut over a non-gritted route, you're better off to go the longer way around when you know.
We kind of really have to work with what's there in reality. That's the mapalerter.ie, the website you talk of, and there's also an app there that's useful too for water outages and stuff as well. And it gives live information of what's being done, when it's being done, information from the cameras that are on. I think there's about 6 or 7, aren't they? It gives the road temperature. It is a really useful tool for the public out there.
Yes, I will. Map Alerter will, if people sign up for that, they'll get a free text to their phone to tell them when the routes are being gritted, and as you say, other public services announcements. But when it comes to the gritting maps, they're available on the council website.
Oh, right, okay.
And again, we can share the link for that so that people can zoom into their own local area and see the local routes that are gritted in their locality.
All right, okay. Listen, thanks for that. I know we can't get it too deep into specifics because the county's absolutely massive. But just give us that number you mentioned too if people want to make representations, or if they want to talk about maybe getting some grit left in their local area.
9153 900. That's the council's call centre. Yeah.
Okay, Brian, listen, thanks for that. I appreciate your time this morning. Okay, that's
Thanks,
Brian Cannon, Director of Services for Roads and Transportation within Donegal County Council. Back with weather after these.
Gift sets by celebrity, by budget, or from the classic collection at McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny. For the perfect present every time. Visit mcgees.ie, sponsors of the 9 till noon show.
It's the countdown to the biggest Christmas party night in the Northwest. The sensational Joe Dolan Show, Remembering Joe, will rock the Allingham Arms Hotel, Bundoran on Friday, December 16th in a spectacular cabaret and dinner show. Remembering Joe features the Dolan family and stars 5 vocalists. It's almost a sellout, so grab your tickets now from the Allingham Arms or book online at showtours.ie.
Charlie McClafferty Funeral Directors, serving Letterkenny and the surrounding areas for over 100 years. Charlie McClafferty Funeral Directors. Let our family take care of your family and guide you through a difficult time.
Christmas has arrived at Patterson's. Christmas trees and decorations now on display. Christmas gifts, from Hollywood mirrors to wall art to home fragrances, you'll find the perfect gift at Patterson's. There's a large range of dining tables and chairs, sofas, mattresses and bedroom furniture in stock and ready for Christmas delivery. Open Monday to Saturday 9am till 5:30pm with free local delivery. Patterson's the Hall Lifford, for everything you need this Christmas.
Hake and Dublin Bay prawn chowder. Grilled trout with pak choy. This Christmas, add a fresh idea to any table with Irish seafood, like organic smoked salmon or fresh Irish oysters. For starters or for mains, weekday dishes or weekend treat. Irish seafood is available in your local fishmonger or supermarket. It's easy to prepare and it adds variety to your festive meals. Enjoy the best that our fishermen bring ashore. And for great Irish seafood recipes, visit boardbia.ie/fish.
Mike Denver in concert with guests Brendan Shine and Philomena Begley at the Mount Erical Hotel, Letterkenny on January 6th and Millennium Forum Derry on March 18th. Tickets now on sale at both venues and ticketmaster.ie. That's Mike Denver with Philomena Begley and Brendan Shine in Letterkenny and Derry. The perfect Christmas gift.
Lidl have rolled out the Christmas red carpet. Gold award-winning deluxe Irish cheese boards in store from December 15th, just $9.99. Our deluxe Irish chocolates are so good you won't want to gift them, just $8.99. And get the fizz flowing, Prosecco just $7.99. Do Christmas without compromise at Lidl. More for everyone this Christmas. Always drink responsibly.
Whatever the weather, Christmas shopping in Letterkenny will brighten your December. The Highland Weather Forecast, brought to you by Shop LK. See shoplk.ie or like us on Facebook.
All right, you want the day's weather. What about the week's weather? Alan O'Reilly from Carlow Weather joins us now. Alan, good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
Right, okay. Seems to be a general consensus, is there, that this cold snap will last until Friday, or is it Friday at least?
Yeah, it looks like Friday, Saturday, probably Saturday evening. Little bit of uncertainty beyond Saturday. There is a small chance it could prolong a little bit longer, but most of the weather models show wet and windy and more Atlantic weather coming in on Sunday night into Monday, which will bring a rise in temperatures. But certainly cold up till Saturday and some bitterly cold nights ahead. It's probably the next 2 nights could be your coldest in Donegal yet, dropping down to -6 in many areas tonight and tomorrow night. And also, unfortunately, freezing fog. A lot of fog, and obviously you've had some showers. Most of the showers shift to the south, the risk of them now, but you could still get the odd shower.
What is it looking like in terms of snowfall over the course of the week? I mean, there's been scatterings here and there, and obviously on the high ground. The weather doesn't seem particularly conducive to heavy snowfall.
No, you're right. It's been mainly dry and just those showers really coming in, and near the coast have been falling as rain. The only problem is any showers that do fall with those cold temperatures does turn to freeze very quickly. So you can have some very icy conditions locally. Still a risk of a shower today, but the risk of really reducing and no significant snowfall expected over the coming week.
And it really depends on the direction of the wind, doesn't it? Which coastal counties get this snowfall. It's how the wind's interacting with the sea and the cold land mass and what have you, is it?
Yeah, exactly. It all depends on which way the wind direction. So we're going to see some coming into the south and the east, and also some a little along the west at the moment. But the onshore breeze blows them in when it blows that direction, which can make it kind of very difficult to forecast them. But generally, mostly dry, really, and it's just ice. That freezing fog is probably the biggest problem that we're going to see over the next 36 to 48 hours.
All right, and very finally and briefly, no indication of what to expect for Christmas Day, I suppose.
No, just a little bit far out yet. Some of the weather models do hint that we could have maybe a mild couple of days and then trend back to cooler weather. But some of them want to bring us some storms. So let's hopefully no storms. Okay, a nice bit of normal weather would be nice.
We'll see, wouldn't it? Just what is that, though? All right, listen, Alan, thanks very much indeed. You can check Alan O'Reilly out across social media. He's Carlow Weather, of course. The answer to our competition from McGee's Chemist, our show's sponsor, was Tom Hanks. Well done to Anne Proctor on Ironmore Island. Anne, good morning to you. You have won a beautiful perfume today for you, but also you are in the draw for that amazing end of week prize, a fantastic bumper hamper from McGee's Chemist in Letterkenny. It's worth over €500. You have a 1 in 5 chance of winning that now, but you content yourself now with a beautiful perfume which we will get out to you. And thank you to enter for you Thank you for entering, and to all of you who entered, we'll have another go at it tomorrow. Have a lovely day. John Breslin's around the Northwest after the news at 12.
Fill your stocking